Hi, I'm Karen Perez, Chair of Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools, a donde servimos más de 200,000 de tus estudiantes. That includes children in preschool and adults through our workforce program.
I'm Nadia Combs, the school board's vice chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of 24,000 people working at close to 250 sites across the county.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to meet or email any of our board members and follow our district on social media. School board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum 635 and Frontier Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They are posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students every day. Thank you for your commitment to education. With your help, we're making decisions that shape our community's future.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
If there's anyone in the boardroom who hasn't signed in and are going to be speaking during comment, please check in. Member Washington, will you please acknowledge our student entertainment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today, I would like to thank Eisenhower Miller School Chorus, along with the principal, Jennifer Demick, and the director, Kristen Wu. These wonderful students entertained us prior to the start of the board meeting. At this time, we would like to invite the students to come up and introduce themselves. There they go.
Hi, I'm Jason Martin, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hello, I'm Gustavo Santis, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, I'm Lucas Roberto Olivo Colon, and I'm 7th grader.
Hi, my name is Nova Bella, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, I'm Brooklyn White, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Liliana Romero, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, my name is Naomi Parker, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Raylan Windsor, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, my name is Jamie Lee Marquez, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Ava Paradise, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Angeli, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Mario, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, my name is Sophia, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Lexi, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Yolanda Jesus Maldonado, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Jessie Murieta Martinez, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Shanna Marolaco, I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Kira Scrimaldo, I'm in 8th grade. Hi, my name is Isabella Salazar, I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Carrie Sanders, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Athena Gillian Cruz, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Torres, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hello, I'm Christina Wu. I'm the chorus director at Eisenhower Middle School. This is my 3rd year. I graduated from FSU. I'm actually a Hillsborough County Public School alumni. I went to Childs Elementary. I went to Liberty Middle School. I went to Freedom High School. And I was so inspired by my choral directors growing up and the musical experiences I received that I decided to come back and do the same for the future generations. And chorus is where I learned everything: how to be a good friend, how to be a good person, how to treat others, and how to come out of my shell and be the person I am today. So I could not do any of that without my past choral directors, and these kids are incredibly inspired and inspire me every single day. And that would not be possible without keeping music in schools. So I encourage you to keep advocating for music in public schools, because the way these kids benefit just throughout life and as they grow up, it's irreplaceable. So I encourage you to keep advocating, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Washington. Any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. Let the record reflect that all board members are present with the exception of Member Combs. We have one set of minutes to be approved today, March 10, 2026, school board meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Board members, I'd like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we are a nonpartisan board who believe all children can be empowered to learn and to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient agenda statements and questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond. If you have any further questions, you're asked to get back in the queue. Member Washington will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin this afternoon meeting, please allow me to quickly review the format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meetings upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed caption on live webcasts, on cable TV, on video monitors here in the auditorium. It also can be viewed in closed caption on the online video archive. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. We have one scheduled for time certain, one item, at 6 p.m., employee and student input. We're going to go over recognitions. Our first recognition, AO1, recognition of National Volunteer Month, April 2026, and Member Hahn will highlight this item.
Thank you, Thank you, Chair Perez. As we celebrate National Volunteer Month, we want to take a moment to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the many dedicated volunteers who make a positive impact in our schools and community. Volunteers play an invaluable role in supporting our students, teachers, and staff in countless ways. From tutoring students, mentoring young minds, to organizing events and providing resources for classrooms, your efforts truly make a difference. Hillsborough County Schools had more than 70,522 registered and active safe volunteers and community partners who contributed over 749,875 volunteer hours, valued at more than $26,088,151 to the district during the 24-25 school year. This month, we honor and celebrate the selfless contributions of individuals who give their time, energy, and talents to ensure all of our schools thrive. Volunteers help create a rich, engaging, and supportive environment that enhances the educational experience for each student.
Thank you, Member Member Hahn. Recognition A02, recognition of National Social Work Month. It was in March of 2026. And I'm honored to recognize the National Social Work Month here in Hillsborough County Public Schools. As a licensed clinical social worker myself, I want to express my deepest appreciation for the vital role social workers play in supporting our students, families, and communities. So, Hillsborough Public Schools is proud to recognize March as the National Social Workers Month, a time to celebrate and recognize the vital contributions of social workers to society and our schools. This year's theme is Social Workers Uplift, Defend, and Transform. That is exactly what our amazing social workers do every day for our students and their families. Social workers serve as an important member of the school's education team. They are exceptionally skilled in providing services to students who face serious challenges, not only in school, but also in life. Hillsborough Public Schools have approximately 250 school social workers, one at every school, and they often go far and beyond the call of duty by providing valuable resources to many of our students who come to them for assistance. Thank you to all the school social workers for what you do on a daily. And thank you to our amazing schools and staff for celebrating them so beautifully during National Social Work Month. The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and will keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking your time to be here. You have the right to speak about any issues you like, and you will not be interrupted. However, any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed. We do request that you try to focus on the issues. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. Reminder that your 3 minutes start when you begin speaking, and there will be 30 seconds left. You will see a yellow light on the lectern and hear a chime. A red light and a chime will indicate when your time is up. I will now call up the first 5 speakers.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Anita Bloom, and I have proudly taught at Piso K-8 for the last 7 years as the art teacher. I was here at last board meeting, and I brought along a bunch of my friends. I'm going to try and keep this brief. Early on in my career, my training taught me that the best way to get a student invested is to create a relationship with them. And I'm sure you will all agree this is embedded in our training, and we're taught that even the most difficult of situations in the classroom can most effectively be mitigated when strong relationships exist. When we deal with students with trauma, we count on this. I can proudly attest to the fact that at Piso K-8, our best achievements coexist with the strength of relationships we have. Our community is strong and is built on trust. Our students are generational, with teachers educating child, sibling, and even parents. We partner with families to ensure our ward are safe, fed, clothed, housed from hurricanes, and well-educated, which brings me to the problem at hand. Our family is being evicted. We understand that this is not the doing of the board, but in the end, that is what it is. And what stands out to our community, our parents, our staff, our family, is the hurried way we are being pulled along. So my purpose today is to convey to you that we have done our job and earned a seat at the table as stakeholders, and we need you to stop rushing through. We have a year in place, and because we want to be a part of the conversation, we're hoping that you'll include us more so. Every possibility for success needs to be considered, including moving us as a unit. Dismissing Adams as too large does not take into account things that we can do to mitigate this, like including seats for students from other closing schools into our boundaries, extending choice windows, or even incentivizing more enrollment by developing us into a magnet. We need time to actually be part of this discussion and to be heard. We have suggestions, questions, and important and valuable information about our community. I teach art to 3 Access Points classes each week and have spent years developing relationships with those students and their families. Every single one of you would agree those relationships are crucial. Why are we so quickly ready to just pull them out and start over again when all we are asking for is time so we can help you to find a solution that respects our community? You're promising parents you will not take students and throw them into overcrowding. I'm here to tell you that all eyes are on you, and that we will keep coming back and reminding you and the public promises that you've made. Our community is watching how each of you individually fight for us or dismiss us into the masses. For our families of students with disabilities, they're voting on the years of developing relationships with you and knowing your child's history and long-term needs. For our generational families, they're voting on our long-term relationships, years of support, and knowledge of your children's needs. They are voting on whether or not the years we've committed to knowing and growing matter. Please consider us in your conversations.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia Maloney. I'm a Master Gardener volunteer in Hillsborough County. And for the last 2 years, I've been volunteering at Dunbar Elementary Magnet School in West Tampa at their school garden, along with a terrific guy named Nate Farley, who came to us via the Coalition of Community Gardens. We've been able to see firsthand the magic that children experience when they're exposed to gardening. Through the generosity of the Coalition, the Tampa Garden Club, and the Riverview Garden Club, we've operated a mini pilot program serving 11 to 12 children once a week after school from approximately 3:30 to 5. But all day, every day, the entire school community can share our excitement and gain firsthand knowledge and experience of the lives of the fruits and vegetables that we are trying to grow. From sprouting seeds to harvest, the Dunbar Garden Club works together to plan, plant, and nurture. We taste new foods, prepare them, document the process, and learn about botany and nutrition. Children are more likely to try new foods. A couple of weeks ago, it was kale chips and artichokes if they're grown themselves. They are outside in the sunshine and fresh air. They get to work together, and they have a sense of agency and responsibility. They learn to appreciate bugs and understand the need to water appropriately. They're very proud of their garden. I don't have time in 3 minutes to outline all the benefits of gardening for physical and mental health, school attendance, behavior issues, and academic performance. These benefits are all well documented in the literature. I'm here today to plead for your support in establishing a larger pilot in West Tampa involving Dunbar, Stewart Middle School, Just Elementary, and Blake High School. The redevelopment of the Just Stewart campus provides an excellent opportunity to plan for this expansion and install the infrastructure needed to achieve it. According to information I got from the Junior Master Gardener Leadership Conference that I went to in February at Texas A&M, only about 35% of the job openings in agriculture are filled each year. We need more food scientists, farmers, botanists, and engineers to meet the challenge of feeding the world sustainably and with environmental awareness. Every child deserves a chance to develop the knowledge and the confidence to grow their own food and to help feed their families and communities. Expanding our pilot program is a logical and achievable next step towards providing this opportunity to all students in Hillsborough County Public Schools. Gardens are not expensive. They represent tons of in-kind donations and financial support from not-for-profits and many, many hours of volunteer time. But without the financial and institutional support and leadership of the district, the gardens face the usual problems of shifting leadership and focus and a lack of continuity. We need to be sure that all volunteers are vetted and trained to protect students and staff. We need to document our expected successes by tracking academic and social accomplishments over time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Max Intriago. I'm a student at Howard W. Blake. I came here with a specific plan, but every day seems to be ever-changing at Blake, so I had to modify a few things. I'm going to start with a bit of history. Blake is a historically predominantly black school. It was one of the first desegregated schools in Florida. It started out as a segregated all-African-American school. Despite this, we still see a lot of inequalities at our school. Blake is also proudly a magnet school, having some of the best artists, performers, writers, and yet we see some really strange disparities. I filled out a FOIA recently, and as of the 2024-25 school year, 35% of black students are magnet. 81% of white students are magnet. This shouldn't be fair. We shouldn't have our essential community school seeing itself completely neglect our majority black population, the people who really founded our history at Howard W. Blake. Not just that, but less than 5% of our whole student population is Asian. Yet we see our senior prom this year chose to focus on Orientalism. The theme is Midnight Oasis. It's really hard to remember the difference when they have both posters still up. This theme promotes harmful imagery of Asian cultures and is hosted at the Egypt Shrine, which is officially run by the Freemason religion, which promotes racial segregation to this day, once again betraying our history. I can't say I'm the only one upset by this. According to a survey, a large portion of students at Blake feel uncomfortable by these actions as a whole. They feel uncomfortable by this theme. Yet, despite our frequent talks with school staff, we still see imagery of magic lamps and desert sands generated by AI. Which brings me to my final point. Our school is almost constantly using AI imagery nowadays, and at the same time as all that, we see our school cutting our art program, our writing programs, our theater programs. Right now, we're facing 10 teacher cuts at Blake, some of which are in our art department. We're being neglected. I've come here right after school. It was a 20-minute walk, and I still showed up here to say what all the other students have been begging anyone to listen to. We are being neglected. Students at Blake want people to understand that we need attention. We need funding. Please do not ignore us. Do not abandon us. And please help show not only Blake, but Hillsborough County as a whole that we stand for equality, safety, and racial solidarity in Florida.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. I am Sierra Sizemore. I graduated from Plant 5 years ago, and in many ways it's a miracle that I am here today. I honestly would have been speaking out a lot sooner had I known that it was an option when I was a student, which is a large part of the problem. There is a very, very obvious lack of communication, and I'm really only here because I've committed to being a lifelong student. And as you can see, or as you can understand, because I've had a lot of barriers getting here today, I'd like you to consider the magnitude of people that share concerns with our community members that have been able to show up today. There are at least 30 students that Max speaks for, and I myself have spent a lot of time within our community talking to people in person and understanding their barriers and their concerns. And I'm honestly here because I remember being a student handed empty promises year after year, and I am terrified to see that our education system is on the decline. Of course, parents understand that you are underfunded, but I would argue that parents are even more so underfunded and underconsidered and underprotected. Talking to the communities, all I hear time and time again is that people want to protect students. And these families deserve to be prioritized. These students deserve to be protected. They deserve communication. And most importantly, they need examples in leadership to become the fully capable citizens that they are throughout their later life. Empowering communities is an investment with an immeasurable return rate. Encouraging parental encouragement will start with follow-through. That trust needs to be built. It just does. And when you build those deeper relations and you have a more complete understanding of what support communities need, you will see a return investment. You will see more parental engagement. You will see more donations. You will see more volunteers. It will come back. I know too well how discouraging these empty promises can be and how disparaging it is to feel abandoned, unprotected, and neglected during those formative years. I'm here today asking you to heed suggestions from the community. All they want is clear communication, protection for their children, protection for their children's stability, protection for their children throughout transportation, and protection for their children's education. AI is not the answer. School closures are not the answer. Teacher cuts are not the answer. Of course, we know that your hands are tied, but again, this is terrifying. This is terrifying, and the youth looking around today on their phones, they know exactly what's happening to them, or rather what's not happening to them. And they will come back here one day, like I have, to ask you and the schools in general what happened when they were neglected. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, and can we get speakers 6 through 11 to line up, please?
Hello, my name is Joanna Cade, and I am the parent of a 4th grader, and I am the PTSA president for Sulphur Springs Community School. I first want to say that the community is fully supportive of doing whatever needs to be done to ensure the best possible learning experience for middle schoolers. Parents, teachers, students, and community members are not resisting change. We are asking to be a part of the conversation. We want assurance that every decision that's going to be made is going to have the students' well-being, safety, and stability at the center. The community is asking for a pause, not to delay progress, but to make sure that this boundary proposal plan is complete, safe, and rooted in what's best for our kids. We were happy to hear from Ms. Gilliard that families who are zoned to Woodson will be able to bring their elementary siblings with them. However, what happens to Sulphur Springs Elementary School if we're pairing them to Woodson? We were happy to hear that someone personally will be reaching out to 4th through 6th grade parents to explain exactly what's going on. We're relieved that the current middle school building will be utilized by our community business partners and adult education. And I love the idea that Ms. Gilliard suggested, making sure everyone has care packages to help ease the burden of transitioning. We are asking for all students to be transported by the school district because of all the hazards in our community. The district safety office verifies the need for busing due to safety hazards. And even though our students will be within a 2-mile radius, the school bus field test will find that railroad tracks need to be crossed. Students will have to walk along the river, there are ditches, and we even have a street with the speed limit of 45 miles per hour. And not to mention the predators in our community. Yes, we have near abduction instances in our community. I look forward to getting a contact name so the public can get updates on the traffic. We still have some looming issues. If our school averages 20 kids per class in middle school, that means they have the advantage of more personalized education. Our community needs the attention to ensure the students and families have what they need to succeed. What will class size look like at the new rezoned schools? how many more units will be allocated to assist our students. We also want to establish a transitional community support initiative comprised of our community stakeholders, including teachers, parents, to help facilitate a healthy transition. Again, the community is asking for a pause, not to delay progress, but to make sure the plan is complete, safe, and rooted in what's best for the kids.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm Rachel. I'm a parent of two in your schools. I attended a meeting with your PISO teachers this weekend. I have never seen teachers take out time over their weekend and show such incredible determination for their students. And I ask that you would give them at least time to at least request that from USF. Give them more time. They deserve a seat at the table. I also support the initiative to move to Adams so that you can keep PISO families together if it comes to having to move them to Adams. I know very well as a mom who has kids with IEPs and special needs in the classroom how important it is to remain consistent and keep routines. This is why I always ensure that my kid is in ESY over summer. If PISO students cannot stay at their school, then I ask that you would open Adams to them so that the teachers can make consistency for those students. I think it's a shame also to close PISO as there is no other comparable program that is a pipeline from USF College of Teaching back into the HCPS community. This would be a great loss, and I ask that you advocate for more time so that we can save this program and their school. PISO does ESY in place at their location, and I would hate for them to have to deal with what our family has. I've talked about the issues with summer programming. We are gearing up for another summer of ESY. I just got our ESY dates, and I enter it nervous. Last year, we were placed at a school even further away from home than the previous year. My youngest kid wasn't able to bus to Grady due to the bus scheduling conflict with his time-sensitive medication. And despite paying for host, I couldn't send my oldest to host at West Shore due to their father being sent on a last-minute deployment. It's not like these issues are issues that cannot be fixed. There is no willingness to fix them because we are so busy trying to look good instead of trying to do good. Your month of the military proclamation every April is empty words. Even the simplest actions, like listening to parents when we speak or calling us back, are not done. Your military families are more than talking points, so I reject any empty proclamations that I believe are only said so that you can look good and continue to climb higher in political office. When you leave here for a higher position of office, you leave with all of these unfixed problems for us to deal with. Parents of military children can't even count on you to listen to us, to deal with our unique summer programming issues or other issues, or even ensure that our children do not end up in schools with teachers who post alarming TikToks from District 2 classrooms. You never did anything about this. I wish that you would substitute empty words for actual action and improve the educational environment of the military children you are supposed to serve. My kids better not end up in a school with that teacher this summer. It is not okay. You have a duty and a responsibility to protect all the children from teachers like that who were reported by parents. And if you're not going to protect all the kids, at least protect mine.
Next speaker, please.
My name is Morgan Money, and I am a Hillsborough County student. Malala Yousafzai once said that one child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. This idea isn't just inspirational, it completely embodies exactly what PISO has made kids believe since 1998. PISO not only impacts those involved in the school directly, but also the community. You saw this on March 25th when we came together to support something important to us and the futures of our next generation. As a school board who we have trusted to protect our futures and have our best interests in mind, I do hope that you remember the words of Malala and the impact your decision has on not only the students in our PISO family, but the ideologies of students around the district. Helen Keller once said, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." If one kid, one teacher, and one book can change the world, imagine how our family of hundreds of kids and teachers with hundreds of books and pens can change the world if we get the opportunity to stay together. I am a student at Berks Bartolo Collegiate High School, and while I no longer go to PISO, I walked those halls for 10 years alongside my mother, my sister, and the teachers and best friends who became my family. I graduated from PISO last school year as PISO K-8's class of 2025 valedictorian, and I'd like to share with you a piece from my speech I had the opportunity to share with my class. There were moments I was scared, times when I didn't believe in myself, but I was lucky. I was surrounded by people who did believe in me and teachers who saw my potential on even my worst days. They not only prepared me for high school, but pushed me to believe in my dreams of becoming a child and adolescent psychiatrist are not only possible, but achievable. Please vote to keep PISA open, or at least make a motion to postpone the vote until you can decide how to keep our PISA family together in a new location. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Chair and board members. My name is Suba Tiglieri, and I'm a parent of 2 children who go to Dobie Elementary in the Apollo Beach area. I'm here to continue the conversation about converting Dobie into a K-8 school. I want to start by saying thank you, not just for your time today, but for your continued willingness to engage with our community over the past several months. We've had meaningful conversations, and we appreciate that you've taken the time to review our data, hear our concerns, and acknowledge the work that's gone into this effort. Today, we want to take a step back and talk about something that impacts every decision in front of you: funding. The proposed half-cent sales tax represents an opportunity to address growth, capacity, and the evolving needs of our schools in a way that is financially responsible and sustainable. And we support that. Because the reality is, without funding, even the strongest proposals can't move forward. At the same time, we don't want our initiative to lose momentum. Our community has worked incredibly hard to bring forward a thoughtful, well-researched proposal. We've gathered data, we've collaborated, we've shown up consistently. And we've done so because we believe in creating a solution that serves both current and future students. We also want to acknowledge something important. We understand that this is not a slam dunk. We know there are real concerns: financial limitations, logistical challenges with expanding an existing campus, and the need to balance priorities across the district. But we've also been encouraged by what we've been told, that our data is strong, that our case is compelling, and that you are open to continuing the conversation. That matters to our community. So today, our message is this: as you consider the future of funding and the opportunities it may create, we ask that you continue to keep our initiative as part of that long-term vision. Because if this funding is approved by voters, it has the potential to turn conversations into action. And we want to be ready for that moment. We are not going anywhere. We are committed. And we want to continue working with you to find a solution that makes sense for our students, our schools, and our district as a whole. Our community has done the work. We believe in this solution. And when the path forward opens, we will be ready to walk with you. Thank you again for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Next speaker, and can I get speakers 11 through 15 or 12 through 15 to line up, please?
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Laura Garcia, and I am here on behalf of a concerned parent who shares the same goal as many of the families in our community: ensuring that our children are safe, supported, and given the best possible educational environment to succeed. It reads as follows. Dear members of the school board, I am writing to respectfully urge you to consider transitioning Dobie Elementary School into a K-8 campus. This proposal is rooted in serious concerns regarding student safety, the quality of education, and logistical challenges associated with the current middle school assignment to Eisenhower Middle School. First and foremost, safety is a significant concern. Many students must cross or travel along Big Bend Road, which presents hazardous conditions due to heavy traffic, limited safe crossing points, and inconsistent driver awareness, resulting in multiple significant motor vehicle accidents at the primary crossing point. For young adolescents, this daily commute poses unnecessary risks that could be mitigated by allowing them to remain at Dobie in a K-8 setting. In addition to safety, there are growing concerns about the educational environment at Eisenhower Middle School. Families have expressed unease regarding both academic consistency and the overall school climate. A K-8 model at Dobie would provide continuity in learning, stronger relationships between students and staff, and a more stable environment during the critical middle school years. Research and real-world examples have shown that K-8 schools often lead to improved academic outcomes, reduced behavioral issues, and increased student confidence. Keeping students in a familiar and supportive setting can ease the transition into adolescence and foster long-term academic success. Finally, many families in the community would strongly support this change. Expanding Dobie Elementary into a K-8 school would not only address immediate concerns, but also strengthen the community by providing a safer, more cohesive educational pathway for our children. Thank you for your time and consideration of this important matter. I encourage the board to evaluate this proposal carefully and engage with families to better understand the urgency and support behind it. We all share the responsibility of putting our children first. I respectfully ask that you take meaningful steps toward exploring this transition and work collaboratively with our community to create a safer and stronger future for our students. Thank you again for your time and your service. Catherine Williams, Covington Park resident and parent. In closing, this is about ensuring our children's safety and providing a stable, supportive environment for them to succeed. I respectfully ask that you consider this transition and partner with our community to put our students first. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Superintendent, Chair, and members of the board. My name is Jacqueline Coffey Leaks, a resident of Hillsborough County. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today on an issue that will shape not only the structure of our schools, but the daily lived experience of our students and families. As you consider the proposed conversion of Sulphur Springs Community School from a pre-K-8 to a pre-K-5, as an alumni, resident, and engaged stakeholder, there are 3 areas I ask that you include in your decision. I want to affirm that we understand the intent behind the effort. Addressing declining enrollment, improving operational efficiency, and maximizing resources are all necessary and responsible goals. But how we move forward matters just as much as why. The best path forward must be rooted in 3 principles: community voice, student safety, and long-term stability. First, community voice must be a driving force. Residents in Sulphur Springs are not only just stakeholders, they are partners. We recognize and applaud that Mr. G and his staff, Ms. April Gilliard and Ms. McRae, have committed to an ongoing engagement with transparency and clear feedback. That proves to residents how their input is shaping outcomes. When people feel heard, transitions become collaborative instead of disruptive. Second, and most critically, is student safety, especially as it relates to transportation and walkability. Converting a K-8 school to K-5 means that middle school students will now be required to travel farther, often to one of those 2 proposed middle schools. We must be honest about what that means on the ground. For many of our students, walking to school is not a simple or safe option. It can mean crossing high traffic corridors without adequate crossing guards or signals, walking through areas with inconsistent sidewalks, infrastructure, navigating places in the neighborhood where safety concerns are real and present. And for working family, it may mean children walking alone, unsupervised, without other alternatives. Third, we must commit to a long-term stability. Students and families should not feel like they are consistently adjusting to shifting systems. Any restructuring plan should include a multi-year commitment with built-in evaluation checkpoints. Stability builds trust, and trust builds strong schools. In closing, this decision is bigger than a building and a budget. It's about access, equity, and the day-to-day safety of our children. Yes, we can be efficient. Yes, we can respond to enrollment and academic trends, but we must do so in a way that ensures no child is put at risk simply by just trying to get to school. Let's move forward, but let's do it thoughtfully, transparently, and with the full weight of responsibility to the families we serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Gianni Hunt, and today I'm here as a collaborator, hopefully as a partner to the board, to the superintendent, to the cabinet, to the staff, and as a dedicated community advocate, somebody who's had the privilege to spend some time getting to know the Pizzo family and the Sulphur Springs family. And I'm not going to speak for them because they're here. They've showed up. They're self-advocating, and that's exactly how it's supposed to work. But what I am going to do is reiterate what they're asking for clearly and respectfully. They're asking for a pause. They're asking for a dedicated workshop or some space where they can have a seat at the table to make sure that their students have been thought of, right? That their safety has been thought of, that learning environment has been thought of. The Sulphur Springs community, what they're asking for is for that transportation issue to be addressed, for the safety issues to be addressed, for those hazardous walking paths that we've walked with together alongside with the community, for those issues to be addressed. The Pizzo family, they just want to make sure that their family, their students remain together. And as a community organizer, I can tell you that this is an opportunity to let the community know that they are seen, that they are heard, that they are valued, that they are recognized for what they are, the subject matter experts of their students, of their communities. And the reality is that right now, there's a greater threat. You're not the enemy. The community is not the enemy. The families are not the enemy. There's a much greater enemy coming down on all of us, coming down on our public schools, coming down on our neighborhoods, on our communities. So we have to do this together. We have to be strategic. We have to be united. So this is your chance to show the community that when they show up, it matters. When they speak up, it matters. So come August, come November, when they engage, when they participate, they can do so confidently, knowing that the system is working the way it's supposed to. Thank you.
Okay, next speaker, please.
Hi there, y'all. I'm Ben Braver. I was a teacher in Hillsborough County Schools at Folsom and Pierce, and I'm right now a student at USF, getting my master's degree. I'm here to talk about Pizzo K-8, a school at USF that's been there since 1998, for decades. It has trained future teachers in Hillsborough County. We know how important USF is to the education system in Hillsborough County. And so as a teacher and a bull, I was pissed, as I'm sure y'all are, when they raised Pizzo's rent from $60,000 to $600,000 a year. A 900% increase for nothing. It's ridiculous. And we know it's not y'all's fault. And as somebody getting their master's in public administration, yeah, we understand that sometimes schools have to close, whether it's for budgetary reasons or under enrollment. That's not the case with Pizzo. It's purely a public institution, putting profit and greed over education and children. And we all know that's wrong. And as people working in public service who care about the kids here, who know how important it is to keep a community together, who see all the support that community is showing here today and consistently since this matter is brought up to them. And y'all have the chance to use an unused campus, Adams Middle School, to house them. We've also heard today from so many people talking about why K-8s are so important. We have all that information. And y'all have the chance to help your community. The community that's here today, that's been hurt by another public institution, putting money and profit over the kids. So we ask you to put the kids first, to put this community first. Do what USF wouldn't, and to help them. Please take more time with them. The board of trustees at USF didn't really get the engagement from the community, because we see what an engaged community looks like. We see they want to stay together. Please help them.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Nicole Denny. I'm up here as a parent. I don't have any speech or anything, but I just want to say that my grandchild here, this will be her third school that's closing, and she's just in the third grade. So she's going to be going to a fourth school now. And the schools in the area, they're all closing. And then the one that is left there, not really up to par as far as grades, but that's still open, so why, I don't know. But I hope all of this wasn't in vain today. It does mean something. And I don't know if you guys know that. I'm sure you do, because you have parents and stuff too, kids. But, we vote for you for reasons, and you're expecting those reasons to work for you at times like this, and not to just close schools like everybody said for profit. And it says preparing for students for life. She's going to her fourth school, 4 years old, fourth grade. That's crazy, going to a fourth school. So, and going to Pizzo actually got her grades back up to par where she should have been all along, but because the other schools she was in weren't up to par, her grades fell. But now, back with Pizzo, love her teachers, school is great, the staff there, everyone there. and they really care about the children, and the programs that they have there really help the kids, and they see the love that they give them. And as far as money, whatever the school needs, the parents don't mind helping. So if there's any things you guys can really do, and this is not just a show, we would appreciate it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Thank you.
My name is Kaylani Nicole Alexander, and I go to Piso. I don't want Piso to close because I love Piso and I love my teachers. And yeah.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hey, my name is Luis Rios. I'm a former student from Piso. I graduated about 4 years ago. Now I'm a senior in high school. And I'm here to talk about the rent increase that they've been talking about. 900% is crazy to me, and I'm guessing to everybody in here. And I just like to point some things out. I'm in high school right now, and as we can see, populations are increasing. I'm in high school. Each year the population increases, and it's hard to keep track of kids. It's hard for teachers to stay safe with more kids in campus. And I just feel like closing down a school and adding to that problem just doesn't seem to work for me. And I'm guessing for you guys too. There's so many teachers that graduate from colleges each year, but only so many schools are open, and now we're trying to close one down. I would like to also point out all my teachers that are here. It's been 4 years, and I'm still supporting them. It feels different to go to school and feel noticed and targeted for you to succeed, something that you don't see in all schools. It feels nice for teachers to be there for you even after you graduate. They see me succeed all the way from middle school, elementary, now in high school. They taught me everything that I know right now. If it wouldn't be for them, I wouldn't be standing up here with you guys. I came from a different country, and I've went through different elementary schools, and I can tell you guys that it wasn't the same as attending Piso. They gave me an experience that not everybody can get. Some people go into school being a number, but I feel that kids that go there attend as being more than a number, and I just feel like we shouldn't close it down. And that's pretty much what I have to say. Yeah.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hola, buenas tardes. Me llamo Rafael Rodríguez y me gradué de Piso en 2023.
I am the interpreter for Rafael. He is a former student from Piso, and he graduated when?
2023.
2023.
Y estoy aquí después de 3 años para hablar sobre por qué está mal, porque Piso tuvo un impacto tan grande en mi vida que estoy aquí después de 3 años peleando por ellos.
And I'm here to let you know about Piso and why it is wrong to close the school.
Y Piso es una muy buena escuela. Yo he ido a 3 diferentes escuelas en 3 diferentes estados y en ningún estado, ninguna escuela es como Piso.
Piso is a very good school. I've been to 3 states in 3 different schools, and there's no school like Piso.
En Piso te sientes que eres tú mismo, no te sientes como un estudiante, sientes que las maestras te apoyan, sientes que puedes hacer todo lo que te pongas a meta.
Piso is a school where you feel like yourself. All the teachers there, they support you, and you can reach your goals.
Porque hasta el día de hoy yo tengo maestras de Piso que todavía me llaman, me dicen que cómo estoy, que cómo me va la escuela, que si necesito ayuda y se preocupan por mí.
Up until today, I still have teachers at Piso that still call me and worry about me and ask me how I'm doing.
Y de hecho aquí están Miss Lian y Miss Semmelfarb. Me llaman mínimo una vez al mes, preguntarme cómo estoy, si me pueden ayudar con algo.
I have a few teachers in the audience that they call me once or twice a month to ask me how am I doing and if there's anything I can do for him.
Y mi hermano también va a piso y me gustaría que mi hermano pequeño, que tiene 1 año, también pudiera tener la oportunidad de ir.
And I have a small brother that is in 1st grade and I would love for him to be able to go to Piso as well.
Porque para mí, sinceramente, desde el fondo de mi corazón, Piso es la mejor escuela a la que yo he ido.
From me, from the bottom of my heart, Piso is a very good school.
Cuando yo llegué aquí tenía mucho miedo y no quería ir ni siquiera a la escuela. Tenía tanto miedo que pensaba en quererme regresar a mi país, pero cuando entré a la escuela vi que era diferente.
When I came here, I was so afraid that I didn't even want to go to school. But when I began to go to Piso,
Las maestras me ayudaron, todos me ayudaron, me sentí incluido, aunque no hablara el idioma, aunque no conociera a nadie, me sentí incluido.
and I felt very like one of them, even though I wasn't from there, but I felt like I belonged there.
Aunque no hablara el idioma, tenía amigos, todos eran demasiada buena gente y hasta el día de hoy recuerdo a todos mis amigos de cuando llegué aquí porque tuvieron un impacto en mi vida.
Even though I did not know the language, but I met friends there and they had a great impact in my life.
Hasta el día de hoy, si tuviera la oportunidad de decirle a todas las maestras que he conocido en Piso, les diría que muchas gracias, porque sin ellas no estaría aquí donde estoy ahora mismo.
Up until today, if I could tell all of my teachers, thank you very much, because if it had not been for them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Y me gustaría que tal como yo tuve esta oportunidad, que muchos otros estudiantes tuvieran esta oportunidad.
And the same way I had the opportunity, I would love for other people or other students to have the same opportunity like me.
Porque todos merecen las mismas oportunidades y está muy mal que quieran cerrar la escuela por algo económico.
Because all of them deserve the same opportunity, and it's a shame that we're going to close the school because of economical finances.
Porque al final del día, todos los estudiantes, todos somos humanos, todos debemos tener las mismas oportunidades.
At the end of the day, we all are human and we should have the same opportunities.
Todos deberíamos de recibir el mismo trato, pero lamentablemente eso no es el mismo caso en todas las escuelas.
Unfortunately, we don't get the same treatment and they don't have the same thing in all the other schools.
Pero con Piso tienen la oportunidad de darle el mejor trato que yo he recibido en cualquier escuela a la que haya ido, no solamente en Estados Unidos, pero también en otros países.
In Piso, they will get the great opportunity because I didn't get it in other places, in other states, but here in Piso, I've got that opportunity.
Y muchas gracias, eso es todo.
Thank you so very much. That's all.
Muchas gracias. Next speaker, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christine Bennett. I'm the current gifted teacher at Piso. This is my 33rd year of being a teacher, and I have to tell you that I've never had a home away from home like I do at Piso. At Piso K-8, we stand as one, not just a school, but what we have become. A living, breathing community built on trust, consistency, and unity. From first small steps to bold new dreams, we guide our children in between, with steady hands and watchful care, because we know what is built right here. School board members, hear our voices rise. This is not numbers, this is lives. Through every change, please see it clear. Together is why we succeeded right here. Our teachers do far more than teach. They connect with the ones that are hard to reach. They know each name, each strength, each need. They plant and nurture every seed. We are not data on pages, not lines within budget stages. We are a network tightly tied, with no child lost and none denied. Closing doors is not just change, it rearranges something deep and strange. It breaks the bonds that took years to grow in ways that spreadsheets cannot show. If you must act, then act with care. Do not divide what is built and already there. Keep staff and students side by side. Let Piso's spirit still survive. School board members, hear our voices rise. A united front you cannot disguise. Do not scatter what works so well. These are stories these walls still tell. Think beyond this moment's need. Think of every child you lead. Stability shapes how they achieve. It is not something you can easily retrieve. It is not something you can easily retrieve. I say that again. At Piso K-8, we stand as one. This work, this mission is not done. Do not undo what we have built with care, because you cannot rebuild this anywhere. So hear us now to side with heart, to not tear this place apart. Because when you choose, you shape us all, and together we at Piso, we will not fall. And history will remember not your vote, but who you chose to stand for.
Next speaker, please. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Schwartz. I am the media specialist at Piso K-8, Lower Campus. I would like the board to consider holding off on the vote to close Piso and consider an option that might have been thought about already, but dismissed. As you have heard before, we want to keep our school community together. We want to remain a K-8 and keep our staff and students all together. Moving us to the old Adams Middle School building is a viable option that would maintain a sense of community for all involved and continue to foster the success and gains we have accomplished with our student population. I've watched your recent podcasts and learned that you are moving toward adding more accelerated programs into some of our schools. This proposed move to the Adams building and adding a program such as a STEM magnet is a great next step for Piso that aligns with your own goals. In addition, the larger space would allow Piso to become a true K-8 in both size and course offerings. Each year we turn away more middle school students than we can accept due to our size. Use of the Adams building would allow for further growth and support of a school that is showing tremendous student growth and supporting a community that is often overlooked and undervalued. A move to Adams would support this community and show them the respect they deserve for their students in kindergarten through 8th grade. Most of our students are bus riders with some car and daycare in the mix. There are no walkers at Piso due to the busy streets that surround us. The distance between our current location and Adams is only 5.2 miles. That seems an easy commute and modification to manage. Please seriously consider Adams as an option before just splitting us up and closing Piso down, because it's easier and you know how to do reassignments. The impact on our students and community is too valuable to dissolve just because it may require more thought. Piso teaches our students to problem solve every day. Please lead by example and support our students by solving a financial problem while still acting in the best interest of all involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, members of the school board and community members. My name is Sarah Poland, and I'm a 4th grade teacher at Piso K-8. I offer you a different perspective tonight. I'm speaking for the students whose voices are often left out of decisions like this, even though they are the ones that are most affected. I gave my students an optional assignment with the instruction of just answering a prompt. What makes Piso special? Every single student chose to complete it in their own interpretation, whether it was drawing or writing something. In fact, I even had a student come in today after the weekend with a 3-page paper about what makes Piso special, which I did not tell her to do. And so that alone should tell you something. The words I'm about to share come directly from students who learn there, grow there, and feel a deep sense of belonging at Piso. When decisions are made about a school's future, it's easy to focus on numbers like enrollment numbers and budget. But a school is more than numbers. Students experience this school every single day. Their perspectives are real, live experiences. While I would love to share all of their works, that would take up way more than the time that I have allotted, so allow me to share a few pieces of student work. What makes Piso special is you keep memories like when you were in kindergarten and now are in middle school. What makes Piso amazing? I have been in this school for 5.5 years, and this is one of the best schools I've ever been at, and we will fight till we win, and if we lose, we will remember Piso forever. What makes Piso special? That teachers are so kind, and the school is so respectful, and it is the best school in the world. What makes Piso special is my teachers, because they teach me new things, and my best friend makes it special. Keep Piso open. We love Piso. Everything is special about Piso. Like my teachers, Miss Poland and Miss Robles, they are like my parents. I can go to them if I'm sad. The staff and the other teachers are the best in the world. Everyone is special to me. Piso actually cares about us students. This school should not be closed. It has been here for years. Please don't separate us to different schools. As you can see, all of these students share many of the experiences and shared perspectives that Piso is something important to them. So tonight I ask you to consider the students whose voices I carry. To these kids, it's not just a school, but it's relationships, support, and a place where students feel safe and valued. So please keep us together. These students clearly feel that Piso is such an important community to them and should stay together, even if it means we're not on our original campus. We have such a wonderful, unique community, and our true goal is to make sure that it can stay together so it can continue to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Miss Astudillo, and again, this is Miss Poland, and we are both proud graduates of the University of South Florida. And we are current educators at Piso K-8. We stand before you today with heavy hearts. Hearing the news about the proposed closure of Piso has been deeply heartbreaking, not only as a teacher, but as someone whose journey into education was shaped within this very school community. As a USF graduate, Piso was more than just a placement site for me. It was where I grew into the educator I am today. It was where I learned what it truly means to support, inspire, and advocate for students. Piso is not just a building. It is a place where future teachers are trained, where students are nurtured, and where a strong, supportive community thrives. The partnership between USF and Piso is something incredibly special. It provides aspiring educators with real, hands-on experience while bringing passionate, driven individuals into classrooms where they are needed most. Closing Piso would not only displace students and staff, but it would also dismantle a vital pipeline that helps prepare future educators right here in our community. At a time when there is already a teacher shortage, removing a school that actively contributes to developing strong, capable teachers feels like a step in the wrong direction. Beyond academics, Piso is a family. It is a safe, stable environment for students who rely on consistency and connection. The relationships built within these walls cannot simply be transferred or replaced. I urge you to consider the long-term impact of this decision, not just on current students and staff, but on the future of education in our community. Schools like Piso are not easy to replicate, and once they are gone, the loss is permanent. Please fight for this school, just as we fight for our students every single day. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Donovan. I am the middle school art teacher at Piso. Prior to moving there a couple of years ago, I was at a variety of universities and colleges. The 7 years prior, I was a teacher at USF, where I received my terminal degree. I'm a big fan of USF, and I understand that our goals and their goals don't currently align. There's nothing we can do about that, and I get that. But there is something we can do about this Piso situation. I've prepared a little something that I would like to read. Our school culture has been cultivated over years to provide excellent learning opportunities for students in our community. Parents thank us regularly for making a difference in their child's lives by engaging their interest and motivating them to reach farther. In my capacity as a middle school art teacher, I was hired to design and communicate curriculum to show students how to tap into their creative potential. It has also been a way of demonstrating how creativity can either be a beautiful artwork or used to activate the part of their brain where society-changing inventions are born. And over the past 2 years, I have seen how much our students flourish with the time and attention we can provide at Piso. This is only possible because of the relationships we've nurtured as faculty, administrators, and staff working together. To build students up and build their confidence, they achieve success. Each year there is a steady progression toward higher levels of achievement to develop positive habits, and when students experience good outcomes, their confidence increases. When they feel good about themselves, they make good choices. If you find a way to keep Piso 8 together, you will build strong relationships with our community and show these families how much you care. I support utilizing the Adams building, which won't have vacant space for long. Each year we do turn away many students from the middle school side, and as you know, we are currently a choice school. I support the ideas of magnet conversion and other ideas mentioned tonight, and if we are granted a larger space, we will grow our population and also become a neighborhood support for nearby high schools. Our proximity to the College of Education at USF was established as a training ground for teachers, but Adams' location is still close enough for those internships to continue. Students enjoy getting to know these additional instructional staff, and the TAs have time to work on various grade levels before graduation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
All right. Hi, my name is Carson Vosser. I'm a third grade teacher at Piso K8, and I just want to speak about my faith in this school. As a previous intern, and my mentor teacher is actually sitting in the room with me, Miss Money, and her daughter spoke as well. I know how important consistency is, not only for interns, but also for teachers and students. I now host my own interns and guide them into their self-discovery of teaching and have been for the last 4 years. I feel it's important that our school community stays together. District coaches promote continuous focus on teacher efficacy. What a better way to destroy that by breaking apart a community. I'm sure there's many people in this room that either come from a broken home or have moved schools many times in their life due to one. I know I was a kid that experienced this, and it was traumatizing to say the least. Some of us have worked at this school for 20 plus years. I myself have been here for 7 years, and I have never received so much support, not only as a growing teacher, both content-wise and personally, but my school family has always supported me in ways I will never be able to repay. During hard times in my own personal life, my team has shown up in ways that can't be replaced. I feel at home here, and I know my students do too. Our community deserves this. This is economic eviction, and we know the board is not the one doing this, but we hope for your support to move our family together as a unit. And please remind our kids that they are more than just a dollar sign. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, board members. My name is Liz. I have been teaching for 30 years, and I was invited to come to teach. I don't know, I prepared a speech. I got to know from my students, but I'm just going to say it. I was invited to come to teach at Piso by Mr. Ovette Wilson. Our team had scored the highest scores in the school at the time. When I came to Piso, I had some reservations, and he said, Valdez, just do your thing. But I was scared about going to a new place because you don't know where you fit in. Automatically, it was like every walk of life. It was, I'm a New Yorker by nature. It's every walk of life. Hugging you, trying out for a degree, upping their professional development. And I truly, truly felt like I was ready to be reincarnated as a teacher. And you know, when you have a veteran teacher, we get a little testy about change. But the coaches that we have, even when our then assistant principal, who is now our principal, she would come in and she's like, no, let me show you how, try this. Let's co-teach. That's the greatest feeling because you let down your guard And then you become a better person for it. That's what happens. It's a trickle-down effect with our population. They come in with their wounds. They come in with everything that hurts them at home, whatever situation that is, whether they're hungry, I need help. And we step up to the plate. We feed them. I bring sneakers. We give them underwear. We give them clothes. And you know what? I don't care if it comes out of my paycheck. You know, I don't care. You know why? Because that kid is going to show up the next day, and I'm going to deliver the grades that everybody here wants. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, board members and superintendent. My name is Alyssa Himmelfarb, and I am a master's educated teacher at Piso K-8, located on the USF campus. I'm here tonight to ask you to extend the vote on Piso's closure so we have time to work with the USF to explore solutions that preserve this vital school and partnership. For years, Piso K-8, sorry guys, super nervous, even though I teach all the time. It's something that is very near and dear to my heart. Piso K-8 has been a pillar supporting USF students as they become educators and engage community members. Our partnership with the university runs deep. We host interns and student teachers from USF College of Education, as well as volunteers from Tutorable and multiple fraternity and sorority organizations. Piso provides real-world hands-on experiences that help shape the next generation of teachers. I am living proof of that partnership. I graduated from USF Master's in Teaching program in 2015, completed my internship, and returned to Piso in 2019 as a full-time educator. That decision changed my life. When I stepped back into the classroom, something in me healed. Teaching matters, connection matters. And now I have the privilege of mentoring interns and volunteers, many of whom are successful educators today because they had the opportunity to learn and grow at Piso. As a middle school teacher, I have built relationships and students with students that extend far beyond the classroom. And as many of my fellow teachers have, I've been invited to quinceañeras, sweet 16s, and high school graduations. These are not just academic milestones, they're life milestones. That is the impact that Piso has. We don't just teach students, we change their lives. Closing Piso doesn't just affect our children, it disrupts the USF's teacher preparation pipeline. It removes a meaningful service opportunity for volunteers and for future educators. And for most importantly, it destabilizes the students who rely on the relationships, mentorships, and consistency we provide. We are not asking you to stop this process forever. We're simply asking for time. Time to collaborate directly with USF leadership to explore alternatives, whether that means remaining in our current location or finding a new home that allows this partnership to continue. This decision deserves thoughtful consideration and not a rushed timeline. Piso K-8 is worth fighting for. Our students are worth fighting for. Our future teachers are worth fighting for. Please extend the vote and give us the opportunity to find a solution that serves everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, board members and superintendent. Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself. This is a quote from John Dewey. This quote shows the importance of education as it leads to the futures of scholars and their lives. I hope you take this into consideration as you vote for the future of Anthony Piso K-8 and its students. I am Maddox Mejia, a Piso student from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade, and I'm here on my own account. The reason for my presence is to support those sitting in these seats and patiently waiting for your verdict. I am deeply emotional by the closing of Piso K-8 and the separation of its students. Many long-lasting relationships are built in this school and can all be affected by what you decide. Tying back to the quote in the beginning, education shapes the future of not only the people of this school, but also the scholars who will never forget being taken away from somewhere they love. The generation taking place now will be the ones who replace us, and your choice today could impact that drastically. My only wish is that you put yourself in their shoes and feel what they feel. Take your heart and replace it with theirs. As a school board, I know you have your best intentions in mind for this foreseeable future of our school. Even if we are to be moved, we will work out with the solution. Piso is more than a building, we are a family. If we can stick together, then we will. And I would also like to give a wholehearted spotlight on Miss Colinello, who has pushed us and started this whole entire fight for us to even be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi. So I'm Angela Colinello. Maddox is amazing, and as you can see, all of our students here, I hope that you are feeling the emotions and the tears and the happiness and the crying and the pride and the teamwork and everything that we have done. I hope that you're able to see what we have been able to do just since we all met with you last month. It feels like every single person that we have touched or spoken to about this dilemma that we have is here and supporting us today and asking for a pause and just kind of a moment to gather and to gain some more information. I'm going to go through a little bit. Sometimes when we come into these meetings, there's a lot of things that I have heard. I have heard this charter renews, this charter renews, this charter gets a contract, you get a contract, I get an extension contract, all of these things. And so what we are asking to do is to make sure that the message is not, uh-oh, but Piso, you have to close Sulphur Springs, your middle school has to close, Graham, you're gone, Madison, you're moving. And it feels as though if 11 through 13-year-olds in the university area weren't going to school, it would just be much easier for everybody because it seems like it feels like it's posing a problem. And we're asking to kind of regather and come together and change that. We're asking for a pause because, Mr. Ayers, you've been great trying to work with everybody and trying to make all of the pieces connect. On March 12th at the HCTA meeting, we had a conversation and you were able to share with me that you would come back and speak with the community and answer more questions. And unfortunately, you haven't had a chance to do that yet because so many things are going on, which is why I would ask you to help implore the board to just do a pause. Give us a month and let's regather. You can see what we've done right now. Imagine when we finally get that little niche into USF and we can just have that conversation with Dr. Lamayam and see what kind of guidance he can offer. To potentially renegotiate the contract or whatever we have to do would be really helpful. With that, I also want to mention Mr. Wilson's message on 10/11/24. He had asked us that night, please thank the custodial staff tomorrow. We served 1,400 community members during and after the hurricane. So until the school district of Hillsborough County, USF, the city of Tampa, someone has a plan to figure out what to do with 1,400 members, the next natural disaster for those communities, I think we need to pause and make sure that we have a plan for that in place. Efficiency is wonderful, but we have to make sure that it's not hurting the very people that it's meant to protect. Sulphur Springs, New Tampa, Temple Terrace, Whittier, Mort, all of these essentially marginalized communities are here behind you asking for support and asking for a seat at the table. And they're looking to every one of our representatives to make sure that their voice is heard as well. I want to thank you so much for everything, and we have one more for you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I know everybody's happy to see me because I'm last. Members of the board, thank you. First and foremost, I'd like to say that students like Luis, Rafael, Morgan, Maddox, they are Piso. And my colleagues and I am here for them and the many that have and will come after them. My name is Susan Santiago, and I'm the proud ESOL resource teacher of Piso K-8 for the past 11 years. I'm not here speaking for myself, because I know that I will have a job somewhere, just like my colleagues. Sadly, our students do not feel as confident as I do about their future. Let me be clear. Our students are not responsible for the situation. The blame does not fall on them. It falls on the decisions made by USF, a partnership that we fulfilled until it no longer served our community's needs. Our ELL students arrive with hope and commitment. They learn, grow, and thrive. They deserve better than to have their futures decided hastily. I ask that you postpone this vote. These students and the families and staff who support them deserve a board that takes the time to ensure this decision reflects our deepest values and explores every possible alternative. They deserve nothing less. Please give them that. Miembros de la Junta Directiva, mi nombre es Susan Santiago, soy la maestra orgullosa de recursos de ISO de piso K8. No estoy aquí hablando por mí misma. Yo sé que tendré un trabajo en algún lugar, junto con mis compañeros. Tristemente, nuestros estudiantes no se sienten tan seguros como yo de sus futuros. Seamos claros, nuestros estudiantes no son responsables de esta situación. La culpa no recae en ellos, recae en decisiones tomadas por USF, una asociación que cumplimos hasta que ya no sirvió las necesidades de nuestra comunidad. Nuestros estudiantes de ELL llegan con esperanza y compromiso. Aprenden, crecen y prosperan. Se merecen algo mejor que tener su futuro decidido apresuradamente. Le pido que pospongan esta vocación. Estos estudiantes y las familias y el personal que los apoyan se merecen una junta directiva que se tome el tiempo para asegurar que esta decisión se refleje en nuestros valores más profundos y explore todas las alternativas posibles. Se merecen nada menos. Por favor, denle eso. Gracias.
Thank you. Now, we will now move on to the consent agenda. Superintendent Ayers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, all items on the consent agenda have been reviewed with board members by staff. All questions raised were addressed, and any requested clarifications have been provided.
I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Vaughn. Please vote when your lights appear. And the consent agenda has been approved. I will now call on Superintendent Ayers to highlight our administrative appointments.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. On the consent agenda this evening, we do have two principal appointments, so I want to start right there. And we're going to start with Mr. Eric Felder, who's the new principal of Oak Park Elementary School. Eric, come on down, sir. Eric, if you can make your way to the center here. So, board members, Eric began his career in Hillsborough County in 2001 as a kindergarten teacher at Just Elementary. 2004, he transferred to Shehigh Elementary, teaching kindergarten and third grades. He transferred to Just Elementary in 2009, where he served as an administrative resource teacher. In 2013, he began his administrative career as assistant principal at Dunbar Elementary School. Mr. Felder has held administrative roles at Dunbar, Potter, and Graham Elementary Schools. He currently serves as assistant principal at James Elementary School, but as of tonight, he is the new principal of Oak Park Elementary School. Congratulations, Mr. Felder. All right, and Ms. Trebwasser, are you there? Come on down. So the other principal appointment, board members on the consent agenda, was Melissa Trebwasser, who is our new principal of Walden Lake Elementary School. So Ms. Trebwasser began her teaching career in 1998 in Alachua County in Gainesville, Florida. 2001, she began her career with Hillsborough County Public Schools as a classroom teacher at West Tampa Elementary School. 2002 to 2015, she taught at Cypress Creek, Dobie, and McDonald Elementary Schools as a classroom teacher and in resource teacher roles. Ms. Trebwasser transitioned to a district science coach in 2015. 2017, she transitioned back into the classroom teaching where she's now principal at Walden Lake and Lincoln Elementary Schools. She returned to science coach role in 2020. She's currently the assistant principal at Buckhorn Elementary. Until tonight, she is our new principal. Congratulations, Ms. Trebwasser, new principal, Walden Lake Elementary School. And Madam Chair, those are our principal appointments.
Thank you. Now, the following items will now be heard. C208, C403, C7112, C713, C714, C715, C716, C717, and C1001. Discussion agenda for 201 contract approval for Terrace Academy of Excellence. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. So, board members, on December 9th of 2025, the board approved the application for Terrace Academy of Excellence K-8 site, and that is scheduled to open in August of 2027 in Thenodisassa. So, again, the application was approved back on December 9th. This is the contract that's coming forward. Florida Statute 1002.33 requires terms and conditions for the operation of a charter school to be set forth by the sponsor and the applicant in a written contractual agreement called a charter. All requirements are met with the state standard charter contract pursuant to Florida statute, which has been fully negotiated with the school's board and is now before you today for your approval. So that is item 208. And of course, Ms. Weary Crooks is here if you have any questions regarding 208, the contract approval for Terrace Academy.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C 208. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Gray. Member Gray, you pull this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Crooks, I just had a few questions. When we have this contract before us, I do not know, nor does the board know, what communities will be affected. And when I say communities, everywhere from the area of Greco, Temple Terrace, that is, New Tampa. Do we know what areas we might be impacted?
Yes, that's a good question, and I remember Member Vaughn asking about this way back when we had the contract, the application actually, and so we did have, our office had some time to look into this, and this school is modeled after Dr. Patel Elementary School and TCMS, and they recruit across the district, so they actually pull, those schools pull from over 124 schools district-wide, 53 elementary schools and 17 middle and K schools, and actually 54, I think it's 53, 17, and then 54. 54 of the schools are private or other charter or out of county. And so they do use like an enrollment process. They use a lottery to ensure equity. But when we're looking at the data, I just have some information broken down if you'd like for me to send that to you. I was able to get that yesterday.
You know, I ask this because, you know, we're fine-tuning so many of our schools with unit losses, and I'm just wondering if we're going to have an experience, say at, I'll just say Greco, where there'll be less students going there versus to the Terrace. And I guess as soon as we know which schools of ours will be impacted, Ms. Crooks, I think that would be better, don't you think? For us, or for our planning purposes?
Yes, as soon as I have that information, I can get that to you. It's kind of hard to predict because we're looking at a 27, 28 school year opening, but just looking at, you know, preliminary data, it looks like be a very small impact because they pull from so many schools across the district. The impact is not as big, but the majority of the schools that they do pull from are the Seffner, the Thenodisassa area, and then the New Tampa area.
Yes, and the proximity to their home school, so to speak, is very near. I had a question on page 4. It says the school shall make reading a primary focus, as we all agree on, and it's going to provide specialized instruction for students for those reading below grade level. Do we know what human resources will be allocated? Do we know what tangible resources will be allocated towards that goal?
Yes, so I know that they have some already, the models they had for STEM and PBL for training. And then when we're looking at support staff, they're looking at ESE teachers and ELL coordinators. They have a guidance counselor, and then they have some paraprofessionals that they're planning to add to that model. But the PD does cover, when I'm looking at the PD training for that particular school, it covers MTS, RTI, identification, IEP development, SDI, and inclusive practices.
Okay, well, I thank you for that answer. And last, the question would be transportation, because I visited the Patel schools before, and that's one of their huge challenges. Will there be any transportation allocations for this school?
No, this will not. This charter school will not be providing transportation to their site.
Okay, so the parents are on their own on that.
Yes, that's
all right.
correct.
Thank you very much. My questions have been answered. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Vaughn?
That's yours.
Can I use memorandums?
All right, can you guys hear me? Nice. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. So I appreciate Member Gray's questions around this and you digging in to try to get information. And because it is a charter school, obviously it can pull from anywhere, right? But let's be honest about it. Patel pulls mostly from New Tampa. I live in New Tampa. I know which kids in my neighborhood and who chooses that school. So this is going to have a huge hit on New Tampa. I can tell you that from firsthand experience. But what I think is interesting is we have listed the schools here on the agenda item, which are these listed because they're within a mile or 2 miles, or how did we identify these schools specifically on the list of schools that we're comparing as far as grades and showing the comparison of the surrounding schools?
So we look at a 5-mile radius, and so this is what we do for all of our board documents. But per your, you had asked about this last time, so we looked into a different, radius when we were considering, where they would be pulling from. And so when I looked at the New Tampa schools, the schools that this school would be modeled after pull from Turner Bartels K-8, Tampa Palms, Heritage, Pride, Clark, Benito, and Hunters Green. It would be about anywhere from 12 to 5 students from each of those schools.
Okay, I appreciate that. And so the list of schools that are on here within the 5-mile radius that we've used as a comparison, there's Folsom, there's Jennings, and then there's Piso. Those are the 3 schools that are the closest. And I appreciate that you put the occupancy, because there's Folsom, which is 68% occupancy, Jennings, which is 54%, and Piso, which is at 93% occupancy, which is good to have a discussion as we talk about Piso. But what we're proposing, and I want to make sure this is clear, Superintendent, is that we're closing the K-8, that's the closest, and then within the same year, as far as I'm understanding, the year this is slated to open, we're allowing, which we can't stop, we have no way to vote against it, but still, K-8 to open almost in its place. That's a charter school that could almost directly pull all of those displaced Piso students at the exact same time. Is that how this plan would line up?
That's correct. How that lines up. This contract is for 27-28, and you are correct. All the boundary proposals that we'll hear later tonight are for the 27-28 school year. So you're correct.
So I find it problematic that we continually talk about competition in the school choice environment and looking at what communities want and matching what they want in our traditional public schools to compete with school choice and charter schools. And yet here we're making the decision to close a K-8, which we say almost every community wants, right? When you look at what the trends are in almost every community, what they're asking for, what they come to us continually, and what we see them choosing, when we even had our workshop recently about unit losses and where the population is moving, they're moving towards K-8s. And so instead of moving a K-8 and reopening it and keeping it intact as a community, we're looking at dispersing it and then a charter school, a very reputable charter school, coming in less than 5 miles away and opening the same model. I just want to be clear that since this is the agenda item that we're talking about, that we're looking at the full pictures of these decisions that we're making as we're making this, because we do have an opportunity to keep the K-8 intact, open it in another location, and then be competitive with this potential charter school that's coming that will be a K-8. So I just want to highlight that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Rendon?
No, oh, sorry. Thank you, Madam Chair. I was moving tables. Quick question. This is, even though it's in a location that a previous charter school is in, they are completely opening on their own, right? So do we have other steps that we're going to be taking before they get full approval to move students in?
Yes, absolutely. When I took over this job, it came with a hard hat. So when I asked my predecessor what that hard hat was for, she said it was for whenever we open up new schools. So we're involved with when we pull permits, we follow the permitting. We'll ensure that they have all of their occupancy and building codes are up to date and they're ready to open the school. And then we make sure they have books and curriculum, and then we do some at their expense, of course. I mean, they purchase all those things, but then we also make sure that they're trained in compliance and everything that they need from the charter office.
So if we approve this now, but you find any of those things have not been met, then no matter whether we approve that or not, they do not open. Am I correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and so will we as a board be notified of when those approvals are done?
Yes, I'm happy to notify the board.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that on that one. And I do respect Member Vaughn and what she's saying, and I do see the sentiment 100%. And because we are tasked with that difficulty, we are very much tasked with this difficulty. And I said it in the last board meeting. I am very saddened by this position that we are being put in by the University of South Florida. We knew 8 years ago that their focus was not on the School of Education when they tried to close it. And in doing that, they have the opportunity and have had for well over a year and a half to be able to change their decision on what we were going to have to financially face as a district, leaving Piso open. Piso is a phenomenal school with great staff, phenomenal families, and it's a very difficult situation for us to be in. As we look at some of the different ramifications of our legislature the last couple years, co-location is a factor. And unfortunately, we also already have had Adams claimed as a co-located school. So again, I urge all families, I urge staff, I urge everyone to pay attention to what happens. Pay attention when we talk about it on the dais. Pay attention how these can impact and limit our decision-making abilities, because it limits what options we have when other decisions outside of this district have been made that limit our abilities. We recognize what a phenomenal school Piso is. We recognize what it's done for our students and our families. But there are so many factors outside of this board that has made decisions for us that has limited what we can do. We've got to make sure that we ensure that students have the right space, teachers, and curriculum in front of them every single day. And in order to do that, we've got to make sure that we have full classrooms and we've got space for them. And then those outside factors, which we are totally not in control of. We are not in control of co-location. We are not in control of USF's decisions. And that's what we are having to deal with every single day. But we highly respect the families and the staff that have come here because we recognize what an outstanding school that is. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 403, Negotiated Transformation Network Memorandum of Understanding with Hillsborough Classroom Teachers Association and the Employee Financial Initiatives for 2026-2027 school year. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And board members, you're familiar with this MOU. This is our Transformation Network MOU. So this MOU awards a bonus to incentivize and recruit top talent to our identified transformation schools, or TN network, for the additional responsibilities and expectations required for student success at our lowest performing schools. We have 8 schools who have graduated to Tier 1 after sustaining a C grade for the past 3 years. That is item 403, and Ms. McCrae, who's worked extensively with our teachers union around this MOU, is here if you have any questions regarding this MOU with our Transformation Network.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C403. I have a motion by Member Vaughn and a second by Member Washington. Member Vaughn and Member Gray pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments? Member Gray? Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. who am I asking my questions to? Oh, McCray. So the number has substantially gone down from year to year. Is that because we're transitioning more schools out of this status, or?
Yes, so the goal is we want the numbers to go down from year to year. These have been historically low performing schools, and each year we see more and more schools that have reached a level of sustainability getting a C or better. Last year we had 8 schools that had 3 years of better or a C or better, and this year we have 9 schools with grades of a C or better 3 years in a row. Next year there are 20 schools on deck that will reach sustainability, which means we are doing great as a district with improving performance in our Transformation Network schools.
So I appreciate that, and obviously the goal is to have our schools out of the transformation process because that's what's best for students, and that means they're performing at the best. I do have concerns. I just want to make assurances. Number one, that we're not planning on doing away with this MOU like we have with other ones that incentivized different schools at different points. Is this MOU something that we see renewing year after year after year, or are there any changes coming proposed? Because at this point, I don't trust anything coming from the next year. So is this something that we plan on sustaining?
Yes, we have 3 levels in our network, and so we are going to have this Transformation Network MOU for the next 3 years. We do want to see our level of support go down for schools as they reach a level of sustainability. So is this meant to be forever? No. Transformation Network, our supplements are not meant to be forever. We do want to get away from all the supplements so that we can transition our funding to support finances for raises for all teachers. And so this is not meant to be forever. Over time, we are going to see less and less schools needing that extra support, and we will see a reduction in the number of schools that are receiving extra supplements.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for right now.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Ms. McCray, then hats off to you and your team because there are less schools happening. My question is, did we add Tampa Bay Boulevard? That was, I think, go ahead.
Yes, Tampa Bay Boulevard was the only school that we added. They were a C last year, but we want to make sure that we create a level of sustainability for that school. It was a very fragile school over the course of the year, so it was the only school that we added to the network. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. They're tenuous, but they have a great principal there too now, so that should help. Anyway, that's all my questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Gray. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear.
Reset it. Reset it.
If you could reset the board and please vote again, board members.
There he goes.
And it passes unanimously. The next item, item 712, middle school VV establishing an attendance boundary. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, before we get into 712, just a summary statement. The next 6 items the board are here are all boundary proposals that we had our first reading on March 10th. So the next 6 items are the same items that you heard on March 10th are coming back before you. As per Florida statute, you have to have 2 readings for boundary changes. So the next 6 items will start with 712, but the next 6 items are the same you heard on March the 10th. This is just a repeat of that. Per Florida statute, you have 2 readings of those boundaries. So the agenda items 712 through 717 together are presented because they represent a coordinated set of attendance boundary and grade configuration actions that support the district's long-range planning for the 27-28 school year. Again, the next 6 that are coming, all again, I want to reiterate, not for this school year coming next school year. It is the 27-28 school year. These recommendations were developed through a comprehensive review of enrollment trends, school capacity, and facility considerations, along with extensive community engagement process that included school-based meetings, stakeholder input, direct family notifications, and information shared publicly. While each item includes its own specific recommendation, together they are intended to be viewed as a unified package designed to balance enrollment, maximize the use of existing facilities, and provide clarity and stability for families as the district plans for the future. Staff also completed a comprehensive community engagement process related to these proposals, including school-based and stakeholder meetings, direct family notifications, legal advertisements, and information shared on the district website. Tonight's discussion again serves as the second public reading of these 6 proposals as we continue the board's consideration process. So that is the summary of the next 6 items coming. I'm going to go into 712 now. So 712 specifically, we'll go each one by one. I'm going to start with 712. We'll get individual votes, just like the meeting on March 10th, one at a time. So we'll start with 712 specifically, and this is the attendance boundary for middle school VV. Hillsborough County Public Schools is proposing an attendance boundary for the new middle school VV scheduled to open school year 27-28. South County area continues to experience growth, resulting in increasing enrollments. Middle school VV will provide continuing relief to the growing residential communities and alleviate overcrowding in South County middle schools. As part of the boundary change process, community meetings were held on December 11th, 2025 and January 15th, 2026 to gather public input. Attendance boundaries for Shields, Barrington, Eisenhower, and Turkey Creek middle schools will be adjusted with the implementation of the new middle school. So that is item 712. So we'll look at 712 now and then move on to the additional items.
All right.
That is 712.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. We need a motion and a second to approve item C 712. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Washington. Any questions or comments on this? Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the one we spoke in length about going back and forth that Member Rendon was advocating for making it a K-8 many months ago. I just wanted to make clarity of that. This is the one, right? Because since that discussion and seeing the trends that have been going on, I do agree that we need to start investing in more K-8s and that we need to start listening to the communities if we're going to have to be competitive in the spirit of school choice. So I'm going to vote no on this. Giving you a heads up. Here it comes. Thank you.
Member Rendon? Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we look at this boundary and what it affects, as we really see the expensive and the extension of the urban core that was approved by the County Commission last year, it's really important to recognize that currently right now we've got students that would be going to Barrington, Turkey Creek. It borders not only the Polk County, but also the Manatee County line. It's a huge expansion coming into a lot of new growth and new development out there in the southeast part of Hillsborough County. And so I appreciate the fact that we are ahead of what the curve is and where we need to be for the schools. I am again disappointed, like Member Vaughn, before we actually got into so far into construction, we were at a point where we could have put a K-8 there, which I felt was going to be the most responsible move to be able to supply for all of our schools in that area and not over impact both middle schools and elementary schools. I also felt it was better for our community to be able to have a welding program and an FFA program right now. Without the K-8, those programs are not able to be out there for that community, which is truly asking for it, especially in a community that was so built on agriculture. Not to have an FFA program at a high school is it's very sad. So, but I'm going to approve these boundaries because I do think it takes into consideration, number one, the boundary lines. When I go and I drive these boundary lines, it takes into consideration neighborhoods. It takes into consideration clean, understandable lines on highways that where there's a split on one side of the road or the other. And so it's very important to me that when these boundaries were made, it was very clear and very concise of what needed to happen. So for that, I will approve this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Gray?
So, I just had a question, and I'm going to approve this. When we have a minimal amount of feedback, especially in this growing area, I am just wondering, are we in a space that we can have more time to hear from the public? And this may be regarding the K-8 model, and I want to know the proximity between the future elementary and the middle school. Mr. Farkas?
So for new construction, we traditionally have 2 meetings, which we did out there for that. I will also tell you for new construction, we don't see a lot of parents that come out of there. Most parents are pretty happy to go to a new school, in all honesty, and the popularity rate of that goes up. So there is a lot of positive feedback on what happens in that opportunity to go to the new middle school. The elementary school is literally on the same property. It's the same property that you guys know where Morgan is. The middle school has got the walls up right now, right in front of it, and there's an elementary school that's directly in that same space, directly to the north of where the middle school is. So all those schools will be on that same 98-acre parcel.
So it's like, will it be set up like Barrington and Stowers, where literally you can walk across down the sidewalk and you're in?
That's exactly how.
So it's really it's already a campus, a holistic campus, if you will. So that whole K-8 may not even be a place to discuss, since it already is a K-8 in reality. But at any rate, yeah, I think the more public that we can get, you know that, the better the feedback. But what an exciting adventure, and a very much needed one. Thank you, Mr. Farkas. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make clarification, because although we are going to build and we have potential to build an elementary school on that property, we do have elementary schools currently around the surroundings that we're not in a place to build that just yet, correct? Because we don't want to build something we don't need just yet.
That's 100% accurate.
Okay, so I don't want the community to feel like we're just building to build. We still have room in our elementary schools. We have excellent elementary schools surrounding the high school and the middle school. But we have it set there ready for growth as we go.
Correct, because those plats, we track that growth. The plats have already been approved for homes, but they have not been built yet. So we'll
okay.
put that one in when
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. Member Gray? And it passes with Member Vaughn dissenting from the vote. And I'm going to go ahead and take, we're going to go ahead and take employee and student comment at this point. We will now take employee and student input. Even though we hear public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it is sometimes difficult for employees and students of our district to attend meetings at 4 p.m. There are many ways for employees and students to make their voices heard, including through union representatives, emails, phone calls, one-on-one conversations, and public comments at the beginning of the meeting. The board wants to hear from you. With this section of our agenda, we are creating another avenue for employees and students to speak to the board. We are setting aside 30 minutes for employees of the district to speak to the board about any issues that are on your mind. This is not intended to be a discussion about specific agenda items on tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issues related to your job or the district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. I will now call Rob.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Rob Crete, the president of CTA. We stand in solidarity with everyone here from Pizzo today. I would like to thank all of the parents, all of the members, all of the employees, but especially the students that are here today. You know, I took some notes as they were speaking, and really the one that drives home to me is the economic eviction of this school. Oh my gosh. And then we have kids that are the face of that eviction. Well, I stand in solidarity and ask for you guys to take a pause on that while we continue to talk about what we could potentially do there. I have the privilege of going out to many different school sites. Rarely do you walk into one to have that feeling of they got it all going on and they're doing everything they could do for these kids every single day. I'm not saying that we don't get that happening in every site, because we're trying everywhere. But there they seem that the glue is actually have glued. We need to continue to do this and figure out a way to help this community. But the economic eviction also feels like something that's happening to our public schools across the state of Florida. The answer really is found in everybody here and everybody that's watching at home, and it's really about voting. Everybody has a responsibility for the young people of Hillsborough County and all of Florida to vote in the election, because I know that Floridians are, I'll just say, they're upset about what's going on, and certainly the way our public schools are being treated, and this is an example and a canary in the coal mine. So please pause whatever we're going to do on Pizzo right now so we can continue to talk and figure out what we could do for that great community and everything that's going on there. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, Kim Henriquez, Lowry Elementary, Kindergarten. I'm coming to, this is my last board meeting I'm going to be seeing you at. We lost 7 units at my school, and I was kind of toying with the idea of going to go ahead and retire. And so I thought I was being gallant and said, well, I'll go to the pool because, you know, I've already picked my date, August the 3rd, and I've already set my appointment with ISC July 15th. And, but due to my VAM scores, yeah, I'm going to the pool for the first time in my teaching career. But it'll be all right. I'm okay with it. I am grateful, though, and that was the reason I came tonight. I am grateful that we actually gained a kindergarten para at our school. So I'd like to think that I had a little part in that, but I think it was more Tracy. So thank you, Tracy. And who knows, maybe I could apply for that position. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm also serving on the elementary contract action team, and when they heard I was coming to the board to say thank you about gaining the unit, I don't know that the message has been put out there to let other kindergarten teachers know, because they're like, is that true, or is that just, so I said, I think it's true, so maybe if we could communicate that would give some hope to, because I know it's been a really hard year in kindergarten. That being said, there's still concerns about the computerized testing. I spent 2 days testing kids on iReady. Yeah, that was a whole 2 days of instruction time lost, and it doesn't give me any more information that helps me. So, you know, we still kind of need to look at that amount of testing that we're doing in kindergarten, because it ends up affecting your VAM score, and it's, you know, putting a 5-year-old with headphones on and them on a computer is, I don't think, an effective way. Dibbles is great, love Dibbles. And then also looking at putting kindergarten in the specials wheel, because I mean, this year at our school, we were blessed to have 2 days of specials, which is nice. But, you know, as we expect more in kindergartens treated like elementary, primary, it would be nice for them to have that planning time too, because we don't get that. So, I mean, we get it with the aide, of course, coming into our room, but sometimes we have kiddos that it's not safe to just have that person in there by themselves. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, board members. My name is Jessica Watson. I'm an English teacher at Pizzo K-8, 7th and 8th grade. I wasn't able to make it earlier because I have an 8-month-old at home. So if that's any indication of how much Pizzo means, I'm leaving my little baby with grandma to come speak on behalf of Pizzo K-8. Sorry I missed all of your comments. I trust them completely, and I second everything they say. Please, please, please consider postponing your vote today. Make a motion, please, to discuss, listen to us. We are asking for more time, better options. It's a community. I know you've heard that word plenty of times tonight. It's true. It's real. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. I just wanted to give my 2 cents. That's it. I'll be quick. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello. Hi, my name is Eliana Caduce, and I'm here for the students and the teachers at Pizzo K through 8. And I just wanted to say that as a community, we're not just a community, we're a family. We're here not just for educational value. We're here because Piso is more than a school, it's more than a building. I have been here for almost 8 years. It is like a second home to me. It is like a second home to other of my friends. I have gotten many people's opinions, such as one of my friends, Milan Sled. She told me it was unfair and a little unjust to her that closing down Piso without truly considering the impact of the students. My other friend, my close friend Zara Freeman Thomas, she also told me that losing her role as a student at Piso is like a concern to her because she knew she wouldn't necessarily be a Piso student anymore. I know I wouldn't be a Piso student anymore, and that concerns me. And I hope that you will take into consideration to letting us stay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Christopher Urquhart. I'm the ESC specialist at Piso. I wasn't going to say anything tonight, but I wanted to just come up and say one short thing. I found my way to Piso in October of this year after making a very hard decision to leave another position in Hillsborough County that I loved. My ESC specialist position got cut to 0.5 at Barrington, so I found my way to Piso. And I was going to leave Hillsborough County Public Schools. Not many people here know that. I was wondering whether I should stay or not. And these people back here helped me find my joy of teaching back. I learned a lot sitting in Dr. Hahn's class at USF. She's a big person who helped me find my joy of teaching. And I never thought I would lose it when I was that first year teacher. But things happen. The attack on public school is hard. Things are hard. None of the things that are happening right now in terms of the school that I work at is your fault. But I wanted to come up and say publicly that I appreciate all those people back there. They gave me my career back. So, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Brittany Money. I'm the reading coach at Piso. I wasn't going to come up here and talk. I brought my daughter here. She's Morgan. I've been there for 11 years. I've been there for a lot. We've been there for state walking in, all of the things that we have built up at Piso. To feel like we're closing a door is really hard because we did a lot of work to get us out of Transformation Network. Those kids depended on us. And all of the work that we put in, those are my teachers. And I walk in their classrooms every single day and have the privilege to see them do magic. And these kids rely on them. It is very hard to get a kid, especially a child in our demographics, to connect. They build their walls up. To have those kids take their walls down for an educator is very hard. We've done that. And if you walk into our school, you'll feel it. It's different. I've been at 3 different schools. This is the only one you feel it in. And all of us love each other, all of us. I would never have brought my girls there if I did not feel that that was a family and that they would take care of them. And I have 2 girls that make level 5s on FAST. They are succeeding. They could go anywhere. I could go anywhere, but it wouldn't be that place. You have an opportunity tonight, and you have been given an opportunity by people in this room. And you have a really big decision, and I understand that. And I understand that you don't walk in our hallways every single day, but I am asking you to think about us, to truly look at the opportunity you have here to show children that the place that they have created as their home matters. We've all come. We all have. And I know you have a lot of schools come in front of you, but look at the numbers, the amount of people in this room that care. That could be anywhere else. But they're choosing to come here to fight for what they believe in. And we have fought, and we're going to get that B, but we have fought, and we deserve to stay together because there's no one that works as well as we do together. I promise you. Please think about us. Please think about our kids. Please just put pause on this and really think about the opportunity that you have to look at other options. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Wow, okay. My heart's beating out of its chest, so please excuse the noise. All right, so I know the situation about the rent increase, and we all asked the question, how can Piso stay together? And I know we've asked that before, and I know it's been said many times today, but when we get the response, it's, well, the rent increase shows. Well, I think we can come up with a better solution than that. When else we hear that it's just USF's decision to raise the rent, we also feel like we haven't been heard because we feel like we have more to say. And it's not just the rent. Okay. All right. My first question is, if it wasn't for the rent to increase, would everything be the same? I only ask that because when we asked that question, why can't we stay together? I heard, well, the response was it would cost too much money to open up a closed school. So let me ask again, will it cost the same money if we were still paying the USF the rent that we were paying previously? Would it cost the same to open another school? Also, I hear other schools are opening and getting remodeled, so hearing that just makes us feel like maybe we're not worth it. It's also a message that we're sending to our kids as well. When we found out about the rent increase 3 years ago, we didn't hear the news from the district. We heard it from a USF article. Even if the article was the first to break the news to us about the rent increase, it would have been a great opportunity for the district to reach out and speak to us. And maybe back then would have been a great time to start compromising or coming together and collaborating together, the district and Piso staff, to come up with a great idea. I know that's long gone now and we've moved on, but hopefully we can learn from our mistakes. Now, since that happened, instead, every year when we heard from that article, we were just holding our breath, waiting to hear what was going to happen to USF or to Piso. Then we received the dreaded news that Piso was closing. It felt like we were missing something. Maybe it was the long break to wait for the news that we were closing, or maybe it was hope being crushed because the only plan that we heard was to break up our Piso family. Now, during those years that we knew about the rent increase until now, right, we know that you came to us, and we know that we had asked our community to put in their input. But when was that input going to be addressed? Was it after we made the vote? That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Joy Brasher, and I've taught at Piso. This is my 21st year. I've taught generations at Piso. I teach children's children. I've actually had the pleasure of working with some of them. They've come back as employees. So I ask you, is closing Piso K-8 the right thing to do, or is it the easiest thing to do? Is closing Piso going to aid in the success of our students? Or we aren't closing because we have low attendance. We're asking to be moved because rent is too high. Does a family separate when you can't afford the bills? No, that should never be an option. Staying together and figuring things out is what you do. Piso has over 900 students. We have 350 plus students on our campus through the Choice program. We have an overflow of students in our VPK, PEEPS, Access Points, kindergarten through 8th grade. In addition to the regular academics, there's also a drumline, a chorus, an art club, and fall and spring athletics, just to mention a few additional programs that we provide. Piso K-8 has been servicing generations of students for 32 years. People send their children to us because they feel confident knowing that their children's education and safety are in our hands. Our numbers have been steady for the last 5+ years. We're a successful school, so why are we closing and not being moved to a different building to keep our family together? We have so much potential to be even more. We could be a K-8 magnet that can focus on technology. There are several empty buildings that we can move to. Adams is a great option for our whole K-8 to move. So I ask again, Is closing Piso K-8 a right solution, or is it the easiest solution? You know in your heart what's right and what's wrong, so we ask you that you keep Piso K-8 together.
Thank you. Next item is item 713, Piso K through 8 reassignment effective school year 2027-28. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And item 713, again, is the second reading, same reading you heard at the March 10th board meeting. Hillsborough County Public Schools is initiating a student reassignment associated with the termination of the Piso K-8 school lease with the University of South Florida. Nearby elementary schools have sufficient capacity to accommodate students currently enrolled in grades K through 5. Students in grades 6 to 8 are choice students and in accordance with Florida law will return to their zoned middle schools. Students in grade K to 5 will be reassigned to Lewis, Mort, Tampa Palms, Temple Terrace, and Witter elementary schools. As part of the boundary change process, a community meeting was held on February 19th, 2026 to receive public input. Student reassignments will become effective again beginning with the 27-28 school year. And as mentioned, I just want to kind of summarize the lease. We heard about the lease, but I want to know that let the public know the lease began in 1997 with Hillsborough County Public Schools, and that cost was $10 a year. That was from 1997 until 2008. In 2008, that lease agreement was changed, and that number was increased to $60,000 a year from 2008 through 2024. What I also want to make that board members you may remember is on that original lease of the $60,000, the second lease, from 2008 to 2024, this team worked to try to on that lease, as we knew that lease was going to be brought up and that price would be increased. We did, and the board approved a one-year extension at that $60,000 cost. So I want to make it clear that this staff has worked extensively with USF on this lease agreement unsuccessfully. And then in 2024, the new lease agreement, which I'll read, is on the bottom of the agenda item. The new lease term spans July 2024 through June 2034 and includes an annual lease cost of $555,000 with a 3% annual increase, additional $25,000 per year for security, and a one-time parking fee of over $1 million. So over the 10-year lease term, the total cost of the site, excluding maintenance and repairs, would be approximately $8 million. So I just wanted to summarize from 97 to 2008, $10 a year. 2008 to 24 was $60,000. In that 2008 to 2024, there was a one-year lease extension on the old $60,000 as we try to negotiate with USF. And then in 2024, the new agreement, which the board approved, was the $555 with the 3% increase, which puts us at the second reading today. Mr. Vargas, anything I missed? Get it? Yes, sir. Okay, that is item 713, the Piso K reassignment for year 27-28.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve agenda item C 713. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Gray. Any questions or comments? Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the community that has come out today and showed up and spoke so eloquently and so passionate about this school and the work that you've invested and what it means to our community and to our kids. So thank you for showing up about this. I also want to alert my fellow board members that Luis Vieira, the city councilman for the District of Piso, wrote a letter at 4 o'clock imploring us to look at other options to keep this community together that I'm not sure if you had a time or not to read, but I urge you guys to look at that email and read it. He makes several good points about the value of keeping this community together. He has come to their parade every year that they host for kids who have never experienced a parade. So, you know, I've heard loud and clear from my fellow board members at the last reading that the messaging is that USF doesn't want us there and that we don't want to stay somewhere where we're not wanted, because regardless if we committed to the lease here, there'd be other obstacles, and USF obviously does not want to continue this partnership. And so I've heard that, and while I disagree that Piso isn't worth the investment in fighting on USF, I understand where my other fellow board members are. We don't want to stay somewhere where we're not welcome. However, I have said from the beginning and been very clear with you, Superintendent, that I feel that this process has been completely rushed. We talked about the year extension last year, And then, lo and behold, 6 weeks before we took the first vote, I had a meeting with you, Mr. Farkas, where I had so many questions. I was presented with a very unclear map of the boundaries of which kids were being shifted where. I couldn't go in on any of the actual streets. I was assured I'd get more information that I never got up until the last moment before the last vote. I made it very clear about my concerns about how we're rushing this decision, how we really haven't engaged the community. I brought up several different options since then, and there's been no changes in this. And if I'm feeling that this, as a board member with access to information, that this is being rushed and we haven't explored all of our possibilities, I can only imagine what the community and the people who show up every day to teach in that school feel like. And, you know, we continually talk about, again, in this vein of school choice and being the top competitive, we talk nonstop about building trust and collaboration and reflecting what our communities want and transparency. But this decision and the way that this has moved and the amount of feedback that we've gotten and the way that we have not looked at other options thoroughly has not honored what we've talked about. I can say that with certainty. You know, we're going to tonight undo what we rushed into last time, Madison Monroe, where Dr. Hahn had similar concerns and asked us not to rush that decision, which was rushed, and now we're having to go back and undo that. And I understand that we're put in a position where we have to make these decisions very quickly. We spoke about it at our last workshop, which I urge everyone here to watch, where we talked very openly about our financial situation, what the state is doing, and the decisions that we're being forced into making. But number one, what we should be focusing on when we make our decision is what's best for our kids, for our communities, and for our employees. And I do not feel like we've explored that to the fullest. And I think the community is saying the very same thing. We have empty buildings that we've set for repurpose, that we have not fully explored all of the options to keep this school and community intact. And you've had our union come and talk, you've had teachers come and talk about this community and the magic that happens in the school. And I can tell you, because I went there last week and showed up to face all the people in this room about the decision that there's magic in that school that doesn't happen anywhere else. And so for us to rush this decision, I've even talked to you about the timeline. You said we did not have to make this decision right now, that we could pause when we first talked about it and we would still have time before the next school year to explore more options. So the emphasis that we have to make this decision now, I find to be disingenuous. I know that we're worried about co-location. That's something that we should always be worried about. However, I've talked to people from other districts, and they do not have the same understanding that if an intent has been put in to this school already, to Adams, which we've been talking about, that there's no guarantee that they're not going to try to take that property and co-locate just because it's empty. Keeping that building empty from other advice from other districts does not guarantee that they're not going to try to take that school. So what I would like to do is, again, make a motion to table this and put a pause in it to give us more time to talk with the community and explore options, because we've had a room full of people that we haven't had since we did the Just Stewart decision come and tell us to slow down. So that's my request.
Okay, so it probably. Okay.
We have to have a little order so we can move through this
Yeah, you need
process,
to clear,
please.
Pablo, if you could please clear the board. There's been a motion on the floor to table, which requires a second before any further discussion can occur. So Karen, the chair has passed the gavel, and Mr. Washington, if you could now run the meeting. She's passed the gavel. She's made the motion to second. So board members, now what you have to debate is whether you want to vote on this item tonight or whether you want to table it or continue it to a future date. That's the only thing you can discuss about whether you want to continue this item to the future or vote on it tonight. And that's what the discussion should be. Further, and then when you get ready to vote, I'll explain further. So if you want to speak about the continuance, hit your light. Okay, Ms. Perez. Yeah, Ms. Perez is speaking, going to speak about the, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
You have the floor.
Thank you. So, you know, we have USF right now, who taught me as a social worker. I got my degree at USF about advocating, because that's what social workers do, for those who face And that's where I learned that terminology, financial eviction. USF is a school that graduates alumni from public health, mental health, psychology, psychiatry, education, and of course, social work. So from the perspective of a licensed clinical social worker and a certified traumatologist, financial eviction can be seen as a very traumatic event and far-reaching psychological and social ramifications, as we've heard here tonight. From what I've heard in the community is displacement. A lot of our families already have faced displacement. A lot of our families face instability. And so the abrupt loss of this school for them can also lead our students to have chronic stress and anxiety, not to mention our staff. The emotional trauma that comes along with it, and also the educational disruption. I get that a lot of families want to move together, a lot of students want to move together, but we were talking about the academic performance and the social connections that these students have together. We really, we tout that we're a 93% graduation rate at this point, and I'm hoping to see 100% in a few years, and these students are part of that 100%. And they're having to face another piece of routine. I know that when we moved the students, into new schools recently, a few years ago, we noticed that disruption really caused some issues in their learning process. So, what I've seen through the lens of trauma and social work is that this financial eviction that is coming from a higher education school, USF, who ask our students to come and get education from them, who puts out scholarships, inviting our students to come get an education from them, is telling them also that their public education right now, at the most significant time in their lives, really doesn't matter. You've gone to speak with them. I know your staff has gone to speak with them, and they're still not budging. Even if you let this class, this cohort, go through and graduate, and then we move the other ones to another school, but not even that. That's what I'm seeing. We could do all the interventions we want to foster resilience, but to rebuild something, we're still going to have some instability in what we're doing. So that's my thoughts, and I want to thank everyone who came out tonight to speak. Thank you for being here.
First, I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out and supporting. You're supposed to support because that's what you do. Your parents, your community people, and you're supposed to support what you believe in. It's hard. I've had 3 schools in my area to close. And it's very difficult because I had conversation with my parents. Very difficult to do. I must have stayed up a couple of nights crying because they closed 3 schools in my district, District 5. And it was very difficult. Apparently, what was that cost, Superintendent? What was the cost if we used that facility again? I think you said like 500, 800?
8 million. For what? For
that year.
So 500. So keeping Piso is $550,000 a year with a 3% increase every year is the current lease agreement.
Apparently, they don't want us to be there. because that's high people. That's a lot of money. They don't want us to be there, and I thought we had a great relationship with USF. I really did, because we did at one time. When I was the area superintendent, we had a great working relationship with the University of South Florida. Because they were giving us teachers, and we had a great collaboration with them. But now it's different. And you know, this is a hard decision. We made many decisions in our lifetimes, but some are harder than others. And as I look at all those wonderful students coming up and parents, it's hard. It happened to me 2 years ago, a year ago, when they closed the school, and we had way more people than this here. But we had to make a decision. And we have to make a decision. And the decision's going to be hard. And because we make a decision, it has nothing to do with you as people. Every decision we make really is dealing with students. And it's hard for me to sit here and make a decision tonight. But I have to make a decision. But thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for speaking up. And it's going to be worse. It's going to get worse. It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. This is not easy. It's going to get harder. It's going to be more times than this, people. We sit up here and make decisions. We love you guys. We love you. We're people. But some decisions we make, we just have to make. And we can't do nothing about it. And no matter what happens, it's gonna come. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, many of you sitting in the audience spent many of the best years of your life giving to these children. Can you hear me okay? And that's, you know, those years you don't get back, and nor can we give them back. You know, Member Washington says that these decisions are very hard. They are, but that doesn't satisfy the question of the pause or not. Mr. Farkas, you had some statements made by a board member that perhaps there were mishaps in the process of this decision. Can you review? I have here, it says the majority of community and parental feedback requested to keep Piso K-8 school open regardless of cost to the district. I mean, what feedback have you heard? Just share with all of us the process that you went through.
Sure. And you've all spoken to the same thing about the difficulty of the decision. But whether it was the first meeting that Superintendent Ayers had out there or the feedback we've gotten from the parents has been consistent. That especially the faculty wants to stay together. There's no question that is the case. And one of the other speakers brought up, you know, would we be having this conversation if they hadn't increased the rent? And the question is no. We wouldn't be having that conversation, which makes it that much more difficult. So to answer your question is that the feedback has been consistent, mainly from staff, that they wanted to make sure they stayed together. And you saw that camaraderie and the support they have for each other tonight.
And having heard that, then we gave, what was our result? That we're still held steadfast with the amount of different schools that we will be transferring the students to?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, the Adams is an option for the board, but the reason it wasn't recommended from staff was because of the cost and location. That Adams is almost 5 miles away, depending on where you are from the actual school site. Doesn't mean it's not something the board can consider. Obviously, it's ultimately your decision. But that being said, the reason we didn't put it there is because you also pass 2 underutilized elementary schools on the way there. That'll be part of that too, and it also sits on the site with Forest Hills Elementary. Adams Middle School is on the same site with Forest Hills. So, from a staff standpoint, it was one that it didn't make sense to us. Obviously, from a faculty member standpoint, it's something that they strive for, but it's definitely something for the board to consider. Our job is to provide you with the best educated guess as to what that looks like and the best informed information as to what we think should happen. And so I think that is why you see the recommendation from the superintendent today. It's because of that cost, because of the distance from the original school site, as to why we chose the disperse. And co-location we talked about a bunch. If we do go to Adams, Adams will be open for co-location. Of the current number of students we have at Piso, there's about just over 1,500 student stations at Adams. If we put 900 kids there, 950 kids there, it'd be at about 60% of what that looks like. So unfortunately, they'd be available for co-location.
So, excuse me. So, I mean, I'm looking at some of these schools that are the transferable ones, and I know some of them are half empty. Tampa Palms is half empty. So, I mean, well, there was a refute here. Is that correct?
It's just over. I think it's 60% is the total. 60%. I can look at it real quick. But yes, right now Tampa Palms has over. I think it's 7 or 8 empty classrooms. That's correct.
Okay. So well, at any rate, this is again not the easy decision. I don't know the pragmatic elements of pausing, where that would go, what that would mean. So I'm going to pause my thought train right now.
Well, if I could respond to that real quick, Ms. Gray, just so the board's informed. The lease that we currently have requires a 1-year notice for us to move out of it. So whenever the board makes that decision and we send the notification to the University of South Florida, it's 365 days for us to get out of that lease. So that is the timeline is determined by this board. So obviously we don't do that during a school year. So as long as we send notification to the University of South Florida before the time that we can get out of there before the reassignment, then that's the deadline that it's intended. It's not, it's up to the board, but at the end of the day, it's 365 days is what the lease says that we have to notify them before we get out of that lease.
Okay. Thank you for your remarks, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of pride. It takes a lot of guts to get up here and really say how you feel, really give us as much input as we can as we determine exactly what's going on within our of our schools. These decisions are the hardest things we have to do in this board. You know, it is absolutely gut-wrenching to look at a parent and say that we're closing your child's school. It's gut-wrenching to look at a staff and say we're going to be closing a school that you've spent decades in and putting your heart and your soul into. It is gut-wrenching. We do not take it lightly. But this decision is not just about USF. In the course of the last year, this district has lost over 7,000 students. From day 10 to day 100, we've lost 1,700. This year alone, from day 10 to day 100, we've lost $8 million of salaries we still have to pay to the end of the school year. We've already been told by Matter that they are going to co-locate in 30 of our schools in 2027. That is space that we don't get back. That is money that they are taking over that we don't get to grow. That is what we are not in control of at all. And if USF would say, stay the 10 years, it's $60,000, great. We will absolutely love to do that. But if we stay longer, they charge us more. They ask us to remove the building, the slab, and every piece that we ever had. We were not going to stay there forever. They're not letting us. I would love them to become a lab school. I would love them to take that over. I would love their School of Education to invest in our future teachers, invest in the students of the state of Florida, do their research, invest in education in Florida. But that's a choice they're not making. And if they don't make that choice, it's an added expense that this district doesn't have. It's not easy. It's very hard, but it's a large picture that is not just a one-sided picture. It's so many things. It's loss of students. It's loss of changes that we're required to do from the state. There's so many factors that go into this. and we have to make decisions that are going to benefit the long-term sustainability for teacher salaries, for sustainable within our students, and in as many schools as we can. So your voices have been heard. Whether we make a decision that you like or you don't, I can promise you we do hear you. We just can't always agree on everything. And we see there's so many things that go into these decisions. It's not just about a location or one factor. It's a mountain of factors that we fight against. And when this decision was made initially with USF 2 years ago, I promise you we were fighting with them. I promise you we were collectively asking our legislators to come out and stand with Hillsborough County Schools to change what USF was doing. It didn't work. We tried because we did find that this is valuable space. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Vaughn?
Thank you. I wanted to hear what my fellow board members had to say, and before I responded. And I want to be clear. I believe every single one of my fellow board members up here, when they say this is a hard decision and no one wants to make this decision, I've said time and time again, I believe that my fellow board members are all here because we care about kids and we care about education, and these are hard decisions. However, in comparison to the decisions that you had to make in your district, Member Washington, those were different circumstances. And I also stood with you and voted no against those changes. Those were situations where we were told we didn't have teachers in those schools, and that's why we couldn't keep them open. Those were situations where we were told we didn't have the attendance in those schools, and that's why we couldn't keep them open. In this school, that's not the situation. We're saying that we're not able to stay on this property, and I understand that, and that is a hard decision. But I disagree with the fact that we've explored all the other options to be responsive to this community and do what's best for our kids and do what's best for our employees and keep this community together. You mentioned the feedback that you got from the one meeting that we showcased around this, where very few people attended because of the notification and the short timing on it. However, the feedback was, if you have to move us, please keep us together. There have been so many people here that have said, we understand if you can't stay on USF, but can you explore other opportunities? And my pushback is, we have not taken the time or had the conversations to explore that. And if you've had those conversations with other board members that I haven't been privy to, and they've gotten those details that I haven't, that's a problem. So either we're not really exploring that and we're not having the conversations because we haven't talked about how much it would cost to move it to Adams and what that looks like. We haven't talked about, I've had totally different numbers presented to me about how many kids would be moved or where they would be moved and whether they could fit in Kimball or not. We talk about distance. Well, from the map that was presented to me, the kids who are going to be reassigned to Tampa Palms Elementary travel further to go to Tampa Palms Elementary by 1.26 miles than they would to go to Adams Middle School. I don't know what the cost of it would be to retrofit it. I know that we have people talking about elementary schools where they wish they had middle school facilities like gymnasiums and all the money that we're going to invest to change our elementary schools into middle schools, yet we have those facilities there in Adams. So are we talking about retrofitting it for elementary schools? I see investments in all other districts, whether it's opening new schools, whether it's putting in new programs. We're finding ways to be responsive to our communities and come up with the money in different districts to meet those community needs. And what I don't see happening is that happening here, honestly. And I find that to be, to be rushed, and to say that we can't even have more time for my questions to be answered as a board member, for this community's questions to be answered. Again, it comes back to transparency, collaboration, and trust. And I've never been told, and I've asked for them, what supports are we going to give to these other schools? You talk about Tampa Palms Elementary. Well, I can say it's not at 60% capacity because those rooms that we're using are full ASD, full self-contained rooms for our kids. They may not be utilized in the way where we have maximum capacity for student stations, but they are utilized to best serve those students in that community. And no one knows that better than I do because that's my zone school where my child went to. And the other schools that we're talking talking about sending our kids to our transformation schools. We just had a whole conversation about transformation and trying to get out of it. And I'm not sure if Mort is still considered it as fragile transformation. We're talking about sending him from a C school to 3 transformation schools. So to sit here and tell me that we've done all the research in 6 weeks without giving me the answers that I've asked for to make sure we're making the most thoughtful, best decisions. Yes, we have to make hard decisions, but it's up to each and every single one of them to make them with the fidelity that we're doing what's best for our kids, our employees, our parents, and our communities every step of the way. And while I love every single one of my board members, I do not agree that that has happened in this situation. And if this passes, I think it's a travesty, and we're going to be in the same situation like we were the last time we rushed school closures. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Ron. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Chair Perez. Certainly, I have a lot of historical knowledge around Piso. I was a professor in the College of Ed for 16 years and had interns at Piso every year I was there. And myself and my 2 colleagues were very invested in school university partnerships. We thought that was the best way to train future teachers and to partner with our school district. But over the years, sadly, I've seen that vision disappear from the College of Education, where those types of partnerships didn't seem to be very valued, or there was nobody left to pick up the mantle and continue that work moving forward. And it's disappointing because Piso should have been a star, in our partnership programs, because there were so many resources we were willing to provide. And at the time, the university, we were providing a lot of resources, and it was a lab school, and we were doing action research at the school, and it was really on the cutting edge of informing teacher preparation programs nationally. And that has disappeared. And, I agree with many of my colleagues tonight that it's very disappointing. It's disappointing to many of you as, alumni of the university. It's disappointing to me as a former longtime employee of the university to see that partnership just dissolve completely. And, I know that right now it's extremely expensive to keep the school opened, and I can tell you, with everything else going on in public education right now, I would say even at $60,000 a year, at some point it would have become unaffordable. It breaks my heart to hear all of the teachers and the children talk about what these decisions, the impact they have on them, because right now, as a former educator, I know how hard it is to find your joy in your job. And when you do, you want to hold on really tight. And when you find the right school for your child, some of you probably choiced into Piso, and that's, that's important too. I share many of the same concerns. I think that what's really thrown us a little off this year as a public school district was the HOPE bill and the co-location, because that is a problem we are trying to solve, kind of one of those things, you're building the plane while you're flying it. And sometimes in these types of situations, we have to think about those other things that are impacting the district. Because we do employ over 25,000 people, and we have over 250,000 families, and we have to think about school capacity right now. And I know our families want K-8s. Believe me, they're banging down my door every day. But if that's something we want to move forward with, then that needs to be part of our strategic plan and our long-term financial planning. And as much as it comes to this dais, we haven't been doing that. Our CIT has been cut drastically from 25% to 5%. Our sales tax referendum is up in 2 years. Both of those tax items fund the building and the maintenance of our schools. We are running out of money. And I don't want to say this is always a money thing, but we are trying to build the plane while we're flying it right now, really save the plane, because we have to compensate our employees better. And we have to provide teachers with resources, and we want to be able to lift our transformation schools up. But, you know, that is why we're faced with this hard decision tonight, because we also have this co-location issue that's just on our backs every day. And these are just horribly difficult decisions to make, because unlike corporations, we're dealing with human beings' lives. And that's not lost on any of us. So my time is up, but I will get back in the queue later.
Thank you, Member Hahn.
So, board members, again, the motion on the floor is made by Member Vaughn, and it is to table this or hit pause on the decision tonight. If you're in favor of continuing this and not voting tonight, you would vote yes. If you don't want to continue the item, you would vote no.
Please vote when you see your lights up here. And it passes with, oh, no, it fails with myself and Member Vaughn descending from the vote. Voting.
So the motion fails, and now the main motion on the floor, made by Member Washington and seconded by Member Gray, to approve the Piso K-8 reassignment effective 27-28 is back on the floor. You can have further discussion, or you can vote on the main motion.
Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes with Member Vaughn and myself descending from the vote. The next item is item 714, Graham Elementary School to Broward Elementary School, reassignment beginning school year 2027-2028.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In 714, again, second reading, this is the Graham Elementary School to Broward reassignment beginning 27-28. In order to address underutilization, two of our elementary sites, Hillsborough County Public Schools is implementing a boundary change to merge the attendance boundaries of Graham and Broward Elementary Schools. All students within the combined boundary will attend Broward Elementary School, which has adequate capacity to accommodate students from both schools. As part of the boundary change process, a community meeting was held on February 17, 2026 to gather public input. These reassignments, again, which includes all students within the combined boundary, will attend Broward Elementary School, will take effect in the 27-28 school year. And again, that is the second reading for 714, Graham to Broward.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C 714. I have a motion by Member Washington. And a second by Member Hahn. Is there any questions or comments? Member Rendon?
I think it's critically important that as a board, although I'm going to approve this because sitting at 120 and 128 students in a school that's got hundreds of open seats is not okay. We have to make these decisions, and they're hard and they're not easy, but I don't think this is solving the problem, and I want to make sure we're very clear on that. We're band-aiding, and I wish that we would do better. I mean, again, Member Vaughn was saying the same thing. We're put in these positions right now that when you bring these to us, Superintendent, you need to see long-term. We know a school can't even sit, an elementary school, at 250 students. And there's no growth in that area to build on that 250. So we're making a decision that we know we're going to have to make another decision later. And so it's not smart to keep bringing these to the district and bringing these to the board that although we'll approve it today, we're going to have to do it again. And so I really ask you to think 3 years, 5 years, because the stability is very important to the students. You know, we recognize that some of this stuff is out of our control, but we know there's no growth here. We don't see where they're going to build new housing here. We don't know, you know, we see other things being done. So consequently, we're still going to be very underutilized as a school with this decision. And although we agree with this decision, it's not solving a bigger problem. And when we have to make bigger decisions like Pizzo and others, we owe it to them to make sure that we're not moving these kids twice in 4 years. We're not moving them 3 times in 6 years. So I ask you, continue to look better before you look longer to make sure what we're doing is going to be a long-term solution, not a short-term solution.
And I appreciate those comments, and just know from a staff standpoint, growth management and prediction of enrollment 3 and 5 years down the road is extremely difficult. We work extremely hard to ensure that, but just know this process, as Member Rendon mentioned, this is a continuous process we'll go through, and we'll look at it all the time annually. It's very difficult right now, as mentioned earlier, with enrollment counts. We're at a place now where we've got some declining enrollment. It's hard to predict in years in the future of what that's going to look like, but we'll continue to, Member Rendon, continue to look at that and work to do better in that respect.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Seeing no further comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Next item is item 7.15, Madison Middle School attendance boundary reassignment effective school year 2027 to 2028. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And again, the second reading of the Madison Middle School boundary reassignment. During the 24-25 school year, students from Monroe Middle School were temporarily consolidated with Madison Middle School at the Madison Middle School campus. So due to ongoing financial and operational consideration, the district is proposing to relocate a portion of the Madison Middle School attendance area to the Monroe Middle School facility on a permanent basis. Students residing east of Dale Mabry Highway and north of State Road 60 will be reassigned to Stewart Middle Magnet School. As part of the boundary change process, a community meeting was held on February 23rd, 2026 to receive public input. To maximize operational and fiscal efficiency, the proposed student reassignments will become effective the 27-28 school year.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve this item. I have a motion by Member Hahn and a second by Member Gray. Any questions or comments? Oh, no. Okay. Seeing no questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Next item 7.16, establish an attendance boundary for Young Middle Magnet School and student reassignments for adjacent schools. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And again, the second reading of 716, the creation of this boundary will provide a community middle school option for families in West Tampa. Students within the new Young Middle Magnet School boundary will be from Greco, Jennings, Sly, and Stewart Middle Magnet Schools. As part of the boundary change process, a community meeting was held on February 18th, 2026 to gather public input. Student reassignments associated with the new boundary will take effective beginning, again, the 27-28 school year, and that is item 716.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve item C, 716. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Hahn. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Next item is item 7.17, Sulphur Springs K through 8 configuration effective school year 2027 to 2028. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, second reading of Sulphur Springs K-8 reconfiguration. Hillsborough County Public Schools is proposing a grade reconfiguration for the Sulphur Springs K-8, transitioning the site to an elementary school serving grades K through 5. Students in grades 6 to 8 will be reassigned to Memorial and Sly Middle Schools and also Woodson K-8. As part of the boundary change process, a community meeting was held on February 18, 2026 to receive public input. The proposed student reassignments will become effective beginning with the 27-28 school year.
Thank you, Superintendent. I need a motion and a second to approve item C 7.17. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Hahn. Any questions or comments? A question?
I do, yeah.
Okay, Member Vaughn?
No, it doesn't matter. Thank you, Madam Chair. There have been several questions brought up around safety and transportation. The feedback that I've gotten from this community is, they're not necessarily asking for, a change of stopping this from no longer being a K-8, but there are concerns around transparency, working with the community, making sure that we're keeping kids safe during this transition. And again, that is my concern as far as what steps are being put in for that. Now, I understand that because of legislation, there is the no busing within a certain radius. But when we're making decisions that affect that and kids are having to walk, and again, I did my final internship at Sulphur Springs. I'm very familiar with that area and the lack of infrastructure and safety when it comes to sidewalks, lighting. I mean, I've had to worry about, wild dogs in packs coming before school hours. So what I want to know before I vote on this is what are we doing to be proactive, to work with the community, to address their concerns specifically around safety and making sure the kids are getting to these new schools safely and that the parents understand in enough time and the community hears this. And what are we doing to make sure we're doing this right? Because that's what I hear concerns from the community around.
I think the easiest answer is to provide the transportation, to provide the bus from Sulphur Springs to the school.
So we're doing that. That's what's on the table.
That's correct.
How long is that for? Indefinitely? We're just going to provide that?
Yes, ma'am.
So all of the kids who are going to be rezoned to their middle schools, because there's two, right? There's two middle schools that they're being rezoned back to? Three? You're going to provide busing from Sulphur Springs to those schools similar as you would with like a magnet school of sorts, indefinitely.
Indefinitely.
And what are we doing around parental communication to make sure that every parent that's going to be affected by this understands this in time, knows where they need to be, that this is going out with plenty of time for them to arrange anything that they need to be prepared in order to do that?
Well, and I'll talk about from a transportation, I'll give it to Shay for the other part. So from a transportation standpoint, because we're a year out, the kids that will be affected will be ones that will target closer to that time. But I know Shay's talked to the community partners about after-school programs and other things, too, to make sure that those kids are safe. So go ahead, Shay.
Yep. So on the communication, Ms. Vaughn, starting this week, every 4th, 5th, and 6th grade parent is getting a personal call. So we're not relying on Parent Link. We're not sending home an email. We're not doing a newsletter. They're going to get a personal call so they know what to anticipate and what to expect moving forward. If anybody wants to make a decision prior to even waiting the year, they have the opportunity to do that in July. And so we've already worked with Matt Romano for any parent that wants to make a decision, like for an example, an incoming 6th grader that might want to go ahead and make a different decision going into middle school. We're going to be working with those parents to make that decision. So that's the first thing, is that those phone calls are happening so that they have the opportunity to.
Meaning they're not stuck in the traditional choice window only. We're giving them more options. Okay.
Yes, we're going to be very intentional about what we're doing with Sulphur Springs. Sulphur Springs has been fantastic. And so April Gilliard, the region superintendent, myself are working with the principal. And so they currently have the YMCA as a community partner. YMCA is saying, hey, we want to join hands with you and we can offer after school support for students that may be going to a different middle school and that want to come back and do after school with us. We can do that as a community site. We also have worked with Scott Brooks, and one of the requests from the community was, like, what are we going to do with that middle school space? can we have adult ed classes for our families? And that group has already said, yes, we can offer GED. We can do ESOL and ELL classes on that campus. And so, yes, we can bring our adult ed to that campus. They have also asked for anybody that's currently working with them in the community school partnership, can they have the opportunity to have space there at the school to work with the families and communities? Yes, we can absolutely do that. All of those partners are saying they want to bridge for the community and for those students. Any student going to another school for middle school, they want to continue to provide support in the community, and they are willing to be a bridge for those families to keep that community support going. So I will tell you, we've had an overwhelming, successful time working with Sulphur Springs. It's not done. We're going to continue to work with them over the next year. I've already committed to working with the school over the next year. We've talked about even VPK opportunities. So they want to ensure that students that are in the VPK space, that they have the opportunity to transition into Sulphur Springs. And what can we do to bridge the gap, even with technology, getting iPads and getting devices so kids have things that they can work on the summer. We're already working on that and committed to that. So we've had great opportunities to talk. Ms. Gilliard is working with the president of the PTA, Ms. Cade, who came out tonight. We're also working with Jackie Leaks, who also came out tonight to talk. And so that partnership and communication has been very open and ongoing.
I appreciate that. I have 2 additional questions. What supports are we prepared, since we've had, and we'll talk about this later and I'll continue to talk about it, surprising unit cuts within schools? What supports are we giving in anticipation, instead of waiting to see what kids show up and then trying to scramble last minute to find teachers to accommodate these kids? What supports are we allowing extra unit allocations for the kids that are incoming? Are we preparing these schools with supports to get these middle school students in their doors and support them throughout this transition? What is being put in place for that?
So yes, we talked about this. So this is a year out. So those conversations will happen over the year. Once we get finalized numbers of how many kids are going to go to each one of those schools, we meet with the principals, and that's what we did in our last iteration for boundaries. We met with the principals one-on-one to discuss what their needs are. So what do you currently have? Each school uniquely has things that are different. So we identify what they currently have and what they think they're going to need with the students coming in. We look at data, we look at discipline, and we look at attendance. Before meeting with those principals, we bring that data to the table, and then we ask the principals what they think they need. So we don't just give them what we think as a district. We sit with the principals to figure out what they need on their campus based on what they currently have and what they think they're going to need based on the number of kids that are going to be assigned there.
So I've heard that before, and it hasn't come through to fruition. So what I'm asking from you, Superintendent Ayers, is that you're giving a commitment here in front of everybody at this public meeting that if the upcoming schools said that they need more support during the transition, or an extra unit or an extra community support to make sure these kids are successful, you're committing to that.
Yes, and it's similar to the boundary change process we had just 2 years ago, where we worked with our schools and did that. So yeah, we will commit to that as any of these just like we had them back in 23 and starting in the school year 24, to ensure that those new boundary changes, those schools that were receiving students had the supports that they needed.
Well, I heard they didn't have support, so I'm not gonna debate that back and forth. What I am saying is that you're committing right now that the incoming principals of those 3 schools, what they tell us they're gonna need for this transition, we're committing to.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And then I have one last question. As far as electives go, how are we making sure kids are going to have the full choice and the full option as they transition, as the other kids do, to make sure that they have options for electives? Is there a wheel in these schools for incoming 6th graders? What about 7th graders who may or may not? I know there's limited electives and they're going to have more options. So how are we going to make sure that they have the option to have the same access to those electives as the kids already in the school?
So are you talking about the kids that are going to move forward to their new?
All of them. The 6th graders, is there wheels at those schools, first of all? So the 6th graders will have an option to experience those before they make a choice.
They currently have electives at the schools. Every school has electives.
But Sulphur Springs has less, correct?
They do have less because
they have less kids.
Yes, that's correct.
So they're going to go to a school that could potentially have more election options.
Yes, they will have significant.
How are we making sure they have access to that as incoming students when those electives are already filled by the kids who are in those schools now?
Okay, so what we do is, great question. So in November, the guidance counselors from the schools that they're going to be transitioning to will come on the front end. So they won't have like the leftover electives. They won't be not considered. So in November, when every student get their course selection worksheet, the students that are at Sulphur Springs, for an example, will get it at the same time as the students are getting their course selection worksheet in the traditional middle school. So they will have the opportunity to look at all the electives, to have a conversation with somebody from the school, to talk about what those electives are. Those go home. So parents have the opportunity to look at all of the electives and the course selection worksheet, and then they will return it back to the school, and they will be part of the numbers when they get added in January. So we do that in November. They'll have the opportunity on the front end to get that course selection worksheet and to select their electives as in the same timeline with the other students that are at the middle school.
Including kids who might potentially be trying to choice for other options.
So if they're going to choice for other options, and they do, for an example, the choice window is in that same November timeframe, what we normally do is if a student selects a different school, so let's say I'm Sulphur Springs, I'm headed to Woodson K-8, but I want to choose to go to a magnet school, for an example, then the magnet schools gets their information, and then they reach out to any of those incoming students that have selected. So that would be the same process, but if they're going to another school, that magnet school, for an example, would reach out and would give them the opportunity to do their course selection worksheet.
But that's after they've been selected.
That's after they, yes, ma'am.
So if they have an application and they haven't been selected, they'll still get the course offering for their new zoned middle school.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking those clarifying questions.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to clarify the transportation issue because you're like indefinitely. Well, we're going to have fifth graders coming up at Sulphur Springs after this cohort of 6th through 8th grade goes out. And are you telling me that we're going to provide transportation to these students forever? That doesn't add up in my book to any kind of cost issue. It's not equitable around our district. So can we clarify that we're going to be providing that for this cohort of 6th through 8th grade?
We are, and for the length of their time they're here, most of them are going to qualify anyway. They're not all going to schools that are more than 2 miles, but the ones that aren't, that are in that cohort, will get it for their middle school careers, correct?
So it is not indefinitely. I want to clarify that. If you go to Sulphur Springs, you don't indefinitely have transportation to your middle school if you're less than 2 miles, unless you're part this cohort of 6th through 8th grade. Okay. I know. That's why I'm clarifying it. I want to make sure, because I mean, we would do this for every middle school. And I do believe, though, that I think Member Vaughn's concern is we do have areas that are less than 2 miles that she would believe, based upon her personal experience, that would be hazardous walkways. And so while we're making this transition, can I at least have a commitment from our transportation department that we will review those hazardous walkways, one, and B, we'll work with our county to get sidewalks where there isn't any, or at least attempt?
100% on both those, and I did not try to mislead you. So let me make sure we're clear. I thought we were talking about the kids that.
Oh, is it city? I'm sorry, city.
It's city, Tampa, but yeah.
Sorry, District 4, all county.
But yes, we will do that part two. But I was not trying to mislead, so I'm sorry if it came across that way. Thank you for.
I just want to clarify because I don't want a family to understand that they think I've got a third grader and I'm just going to automatically have transportation to my middle school.
That we're taking it away. The kids we're taking away from are currently middle school kids there. There won't be any more current middle school kids that would fit that criteria that we're taking something away from them. So yes, this cohort.
Okay. I also would like to ask the same thing about the Pisa families. I would like there to be communication with 4th and 5th graders. And then again, those 6th graders, especially the 6th graders, the 7th and the 7th graders, because 7th graders will stay. Well, the current 7th graders will be 8th graders. They'll be gone. The current 6th graders will go in 7th grade and have to move for 8th grade. And I think that, so our 5th and 6th graders, we need to have that communication with, and we need to give them that same choice option this summer to be able to make that decision. It shouldn't be for one school and not the other.
It's not. It will be. They will have that same.
Okay, so I want to make sure we clarify that when we're making these transitions, that we give that opportunity to both cohorts.
Yep.
Okay, because it's
speaking for Dr. Grace.
I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm asking. Okay, I think that's very important, and I agree with Member Vaughn. We're doing our job here, making the hard decisions. We're telling you that we're taking your recommendations to close a school. We're taking your recommendations that they're in the past had no staff or didn't have the thing. We're taking those recommendations, but the in-school what we need in schools, that's up to you and your staff superintendent. And so because we're making the hard decisions, we're asking you to make the decisions. If that means you have to, and I'll say it again, if you've got to make hard decisions to cut members in this building, to keep teachers in our schools, or paras in our buildings, or whatever it takes, between custodial to principal, and I don't mean this way, I mean this way, I would have more teachers in a school before I worry about who's picking out a book. And at the end of the day, we're making those hard decisions. We're facing those families. We're facing those staff. So I'm asking you to make the hard decisions to keep our schools staffed appropriately. That's where the hardest decision is going to be made. I need the staff in our schools. Always. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Quickly here, not very long. I'm getting old now, so I can't think of all the dates, but I remember when I was an area director and we put K-8 into Sulphur Springs. Tracy, you had just left, if I'm not mistaken. You had been gone for a little while when we put it in there. Tracy was the former principal at Sulphur Springs, and we made it a K-8. Now, when we made it a K-8, because the parents in that community wanted their kids to stay together. That was the reason why we put K-8, because before we put K-8, Sulphur Springs kids was going all over. So we decided to put K-8 in there so the kids would stay together in the community. But what we said later on, and it came out to be, what is coming to be true, that community would not be there long, because they did not have the same middle school activities as the regular middle schools had. That's why but we wanted to stay there so the kids could stay together, because they were divided up. They went all over Hillsborough County. So we put K-8 in there, but we knew later on he would finally get weaker because we couldn't keep enough students in there because people was moving out their community. So now it's in, and now we it's what we said has come true. We don't have enough kids there now to make that middle school, to make the school more attractive for middle school students, because we don't have the same activities there as we had before. But my question, Chris, and I want to make sure that we understand this, because you're talking to a guy been around for years. I'm 100 years old almost. We have to make sure that we have transportation. That's the key. Because when I'm looking at Carter G. Woodson Memorial Slide, and you said Young, is Young involved in that? Not at all?
No, not unless they go there for magnet, but it's not.
Okay, not at all for a magnet. So there would be no dangers or any of these students having to walk, because it seems like these three schools are ways apart. So every kid would be transported where we won't have to walk. And I said we because I love them, we.
Right, especially for this cohort that's there right now. But I'll verify that's going to happen on the other ones. But yes, because the schools are far enough that they're more than 2 miles, and also you've got the streets that are on there that are hazardous walking, meet the state criteria for hazardous walking conditions.
And we got more sidewalks now than we used to have. Yes. Because I remember around the corner from Graham, they used to have to walk and so forth to Lee, and it was very, okay. I just want to make sure, I want the parents to feel safe now. We're going to take care of your kids. You may not have K-8 there, but we're going to take care of the kids, because that's what we're all about, the students. And I just want to make sure we understand that. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member Washington, Member Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Member Vaughn mentioned the importance of the supports. And Ms. McCray, one of the factors that will determine the success or the unsuccess is the fidelity of those human resources. I almost want to say, if we had not a diagram, but if we had a capsule where we can absolutely see what, and this is regarding Piso, it's regarding Young Middle, and regarding Sulphur Springs, like a package. For instance, and for example, transformation schools get da-da-da-da-da-da. But what exactly, to satisfy the board members that we're listening to today, why don't we go ahead and share with each of us what exactly are we looking at in terms of supports? That way we'll have the edification that this, that, and the other, will be with that child, versus when we did the Tampa Bay Boulevard, when we went from Just to Tampa Bay, we put the students in different schools. We really didn't have a succinct, legitimate way to see what supports were given. So this time, I think around, it would, at least I'll speak for myself, but I'm listening to the board members. I think it would be very critical for us to absolutely see in writing what we're including. Ms. McCray, would you like to remark on that request and share with us your thoughts?
No, we can do that. We'll look at data and information. We'll look at the resources that are already there. We'll have to get the numbers of the kids that are going to be assigned to the school. Got to figure out enrollment versus zoned, right? Because that's going to be a difference in numbers. And then we can put together a proposal.
And I think that would be very helpful to the community, the stakeholders also, so they know that these children will be taken care of in more ways than one as they go transfer from one school to another. Thank you very much. Madam Chair, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Member Gray. I had asked for that about all of these previous to this vote and hadn't received that, so maybe when you ask for it, it will appear. However, my reason for getting back in the queue is, while I appreciate that we want to work with Tampa in order to try to put the infrastructure into Sulphur Springs, I met with the mayor, with Kristen Davis, not that long ago, and highlighted Sulphur Springs and asked for more infrastructure and sidewalks and lighting to be put in there to make it safer. And we got a report back that there was no need for it and they didn't find the value of it. So, you know, I hate the fact that our schools become the catch-all for every failed social service that other municipalities should be prioritizing, especially as there's an intention to erode public education and defund us one cut at a time. But that's where we're at. And unfortunately, right now, it's our responsibility to take care of the kids. So if for some reason we're not able to get that infrastructure, what are the chances, as Member Rendon said, about getting a waiver for hazardous walking conditions? I know the state legislation changed it so far to a bridge and an overpass, and we were able to do that with some other schools. What are we thinking about when it comes to Sulphur Springs?
So our committee, we will have the team go out there and I'll provide the report to everyone on the board. It usually takes a few days for that to happen, but I'll send our safety team out to go walk each one of those routes. And again, they'll have to do a snapshot because you don't know where everyone's going to live going forward. But the main roads that are in Sulphur Springs, I'll have them do that walk right now and get and report it to the board. And we'll commit to getting that to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Our next item is item 1001, increase expenditures for piggyback with connection public sector solutions for the purchase of technology products, services, and solutions. Superintendent Van Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, this agenda item is requesting approval to increase the spending authority under the piggyback number as mentioned in this agreement. This is an existing cooperative purchasing agreement that allows us to procure technology products and services efficiently, preventing procurement bottlenecks and allowing continued purchasing without interruption through an already vetted contract. This increase is essential so school sites, especially Title I schools, can obligate and expend their funds in time to receive technology equipments before the fiscal year cutoff as required by federal guidelines, and that is item 1001.
Thank you, Superintendent. I need a motion and a second to approve item C 1001. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Vaughn. Member Vaughn, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
I did. Thank you. Thank you for meeting with me to go over this. I know that we had run out of time for the agenda review, and I had questions regarding this. I guess my only comment is, from my understanding, this is really kind of a pass-through for the Title I funds to be able to be spent on technology. And again, I understand where we are financially, but I do hope that we're using, this is just my comment, we're using all of our resources to provide the technology at the schools so that they can use their Title I funds to actually look at things that are going to enrich instruction, hire extra people if they need to, really focus on the things that are going to advance student achievement. So the fact that so much of this is coming out of Title I for technology, you know, I know you're working so hard on that strategic plan that Member Gray has asked for so long, and you have done such a good job in presenting us with an abundance of information. My only hope is in that strategic plan, there's more built in for the support to come from the district. So again, our schools can utilize their Title I funds for things that are directly going to impact student achievement. And that's the only comments I have on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Vaughn. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. We will move into the superintendent's comments. Superintendent Ayers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And my updates this evening, we'll start with Florida celebrates Month of the Military Child. So as you all know, the 7th largest school district in the nation, we take immense pride in being home to over 4,000 military-connected families who have their children studying in our schools. This month is Month of the Military Child that gives communities an opportunity to emphasize and recognize the sacrifices of military families as they serve our nation. So then on April 15th, we ask that you join us in supporting our military families under Purple Up. Wear purple to show your support of the men, women, and children who make the sacrifices every day to serve our nation. And then board members, at our April 21st meeting, again, our April 21st meeting, we will have our formal district recognition item, and I'm also encouraging each of you and my team members to wear purple for our next board meeting on April 21st as we honor Month of the Military Child. And Dr. Hahn, as we mentioned, Month of Military Child, I think it's coming 8 years now that you've served on MacDill Council for Educational Excellence. So thank you for your support of our military families during that month.
Recognition and
yes, ma'am. Yeah, so we'll have it our April 21st, a formal recognition, then our student recognition on the 28th. We'll have other recognition as well. So everyone wearing purple, my staff as well. Mr. Young's already ready. He's got his purple on. He's already ready, already ahead. Yeah. So, and then also around academic excellence, we had our JROTC Cadet of the Year. So on Thursday, March 26th, the district announced the top 10 cadets for JROTC Cadet of the Year, along with the overall winner at the year-end awards program held at the University of South Florida. Congratulations to Vidyar Satya from Middleton High School, who took home the top honors for Cadet of the Year. So that's a huge honor to win Cadet of the Year. Also, congratulations also goes out to the following students who went through a rigorous board selection process to be considered, and that was Caroline Victoria Alonzo, Mary Ellis at Brandon, Miriam at Chamberlain, Charlotte over at Durant, Isabel Rivera at Newsom, Juliet Salmon over at Plant, Andrew Papp at Riverview, Rebecca Siddell at Robinson, and Gavin McGraw over at Tampa Bay Tech High School. I want to thank Member Rendon. I know you were at the event at USF honoring our Cadet of the Year. Mr. Murillo was there, Mr. Brady, and also Mr. Brooks for members of the staff that were there honoring our Cadet of the Year. And when you hear about the selection process and of what it takes to win that top cadet, it's really incredible to even make the finalists as the ones I mentioned and to be the big winner. Wow. 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 Vidyarth, yeah, accepted at the Honors Academy at Air Force. So Blake students take a top art prize. So you can see, congratulations to Cora Bowen, a senior from Blake High School, who won this year's competition with $1 million pass to take. The piece reflects her and her peers' experience as seniors in high school as they anticipate the potential of their futures. Cora's work will hang in the U.S. Capitol building for the next year, where visitors from across the nation can admire her piece. Thanks to U.S. Representative Kathy Castor for all of her support of our schools and continued support of Hillsborough County Public Schools. So, board members, we had some announcements of quite a big achievement. Our 26th, 27th, our Preparing New Principals cohort. We also had yesterday, we had our principal induction program that Mr. Washington, Ms. Rendon, Ms. Combs, Ms. Gray, you were in attendance. But I just want to take a minute, if Dr. Graves could just talk. I know you had during your week, a couple weeks ago, where you were having some visits to some of these Preparing New Principal candidates.
Yes, thank you, Superintendent Ayers. As Superintendent Ayers said, we had 38 of our current assistant principals who were selected for the 26-27 PNP program. I had a chance to personally visit each one of their schools and make the announcement and share the great news with them, which was a huge surprise. To be eligible, just a little bit about the program. To be eligible, you have to have a minimum of 1 year successful service as an assistant principal, a state certification in ed leadership, and they also went through a rigorous application and screening process. And so as part of that cohort, each participant will engage in standards-based professional learning, complete job-embedded leadership activities, and receive ongoing coaching and support. The other celebration was yesterday, which was the graduation for our principal induction program, and that was for 27 of our new principals who recently completed that 1 year principal induction program. So all newly appointed principals are automatically enrolled into that program. And as a part of that learning, they receive targeted professional learning, ongoing coaching and support from the leadership and development team during those first 2 years. So again, congratulations to all of our PIP graduates and PNP participants, and thank you to Teresa Campbell and her team for all of their support with these programs.
Yeah, and then board members, thank you for all your support of all of our leadership development programs. We know that obviously having a high-quality classroom teacher and then a high-quality leader in our schools is what makes the biggest impact, and thank you for your support in our leadership development program. And thank you, Dr. Graves. A couple other announcements. Congrats to Mendenhall Elementary School and their principal, Skylar Geyer. They have been recognized as the 2026 Rising Star School by the East Coast Technical Assistance Center. Rising Star Schools serve student populations above the state poverty average and are approved by 2 letter grades from 24-25. And as board members, you all know, Mendenhall moved from a C to an A last school year, and we're just so proud of the work being done by our teachers, staff, and students over at Mendenhall. Ms. Geyer was so excited to receive this award, really on behalf of her school, Mendenhall, and Ms. Geyer. They've done tremendous work there. It's a great school over at Mendenhall. And then finally, congratulations. I know you're all aware of this, but we did have congratulations to John Newman, our Chief of Security and Emergency Management, for being selected as Florida's School Safety Specialist of the Year and honoring recognizing his exceptional leadership, professionalism, and dedication to the safety and well-being of students and staff statewide. So it was an honor. We had our safety summit last week, and I was in attendance with Chief Newman. Did not have any idea that he was going to be the winner, and there his name was announced, and well-deserved. So just congratulations. It's a big deal, not only for John Newman, but for Hillsborough County Public Schools. This board, you guys, for a long time, back since 2016, but before back in that time, really invested in our security in our schools and safety. And Mr. Farkas, I just want to mention a word about Mr. Newman.
I do. We'll have an opportunity at the meeting in May, the May 5th board meeting. We're going to come here so you guys can have that conversation with him. I know traditionally we don't do that, but I think his position is the one position that affects everyone in the room. That affects the kids, that affects the principals, the teachers, the board that he talks to on a regular basis. And we have a very unique situation with him being a former assistant chief at Tampa Police Department and having a wife and a sister and a daughter that are all work in the school district. So we look forward to celebrating him. He really does take calls, and I think Rick can agree to this, 7 days a week for those calls at all times. So he's just he's a selfless person. It's funny because Van and I were there last year, and someone else won that he mentored, and he tried not to show that he was upset, but he definitely did not like the idea that someone else won that award. So it was a surprise, and he was very happy, very deserving. Like I said, he sits in the Parkland Commission, and he's going to be someone that's sorely missed. But we're very happy that John won the award. No one more deserving. He's definitely the people that within the state all go to him to ask questions. So happy that he's here.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. And Madam Chair, those are my comments.
Thank you. We will move into board member comments. Board members, just a reminder, you have 5 minutes each to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. So, Member Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Entrepalooza 2026 trade show and student showcase was very successful. This is the let's see, I think the 6th annual event. Big thank you to Hillsborough County Public School, Larissa Lizarago, Adult Services, Miss Stanfield, a teacher at Jefferson. But the point is, these kids came up with all types of eclectic companies. Renaissance, your craft, your space, your Renaissance. And here's one for coffee drinkers. Brewing better futures, 1 cup at a time. Another one was, this is a spoiler alert. If foods get bad, they actually have a little mechanism to give you a warning if it's going to be bad. And the schools, Barrington, Jefferson, Freedom, and Randall, were featured in this trade show, and other schools, but very thankful to those directors and to USF who sponsored it. Pablo, if we can get the EPI slides up, maybe we already have them. Oh, you did get the, okay. This is the EPI school teachers. Baycrest has, I believe, 13 of them. Every one of those students in every one of those classes were fully 100% engaged in the cultural exchange among students, and the teacher is just undeniably so valuable. I want to thank some of these teachers were Miss Valentino, she's shown here, the principal, Adriana Wilsey, that's the assistant principal. She helped make them very, very, set them up for success. And thank you to the EPI director, Deborah Martin, and the support team, Ken and Julia Hart. So again, this is a great program. I think, Superintendent Van Ayers, we have 52 teachers, EPI teachers that are budgeted. So if we have a teacher shortage, we have, according to, I'll speak for Mr. Lewis, we have budgeted for those teachers. All right. Next, from the Hillsborough Healthy School announcement, we want to congratulate Dr. Felita Lewis from FACE. She's received the TGH, Hillsborough Healthy School Wellness Award, for the month of April. Her commitment to student, staff, and family wellness has been exemplary, and she goes to every one of the meetings. Next, oh, yes, and I want to thank Dr. Rick Grays for helping motivate 223, maybe more schools that filled out the Hillsborough Healthy School Survey. That's a record-breaking amount, and showing very much that the regional superintendents, the principals, have their eye on the physical, mental, and well-being of every student. Last, we do have Hill Middle School. We'll have the We'll host the Human Trafficking Student Online Safety Panel this Thursday, 5:30 p.m. we begin. That concludes my remarks. But I did want to say something to when we talk about those grades, end-of-year grades, school grades going from a C to a A in Mendenhall, how much work it takes for those teachers and the leadership team to get those scores up to that point is unbelievable. You know, you hear the passion of the PISO folks. They work so hard to get those children to the best intellectual, mental well-being. And, you know, it's Superintendent Van Ayers and Dr. Grays, you know, it's just we can't thank these teachers enough. There's no way we can possibly thank those hardworking teachers enough. But I hope that we can maybe give them the fiduciary salaries that we have to do eventually, because they deserve it. And thank you all, cabinet members, too, because you're right behind the scenes helping motivate and providing the resources for our teachers and our staff and our administrators. So I want to thank all of you. And Superintendent Van Ayers, you are student-centered. It shows in every one of your visits, and it's prompted every one of us to have the same type of motivation to help our staff and our teachers and our parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. But first, I have to give kudos to Dr. Graves. You did a great job. Oh, yeah. You know, he really did a great job, but I was teasing him a little bit because I said, I hope I don't ride with you, because you go to a lot of schools all in one time. But you did a great job. That was a motivational speech, and it really was nice. Also, I don't know if Chris is here, but I want to thank Chris. He had to go out to Franklin, or he did. He had do some work for me. He and being out at Franklin for me, because Brent is out there working as hard as he can. Thank you so much for doing that. Now, Also, we on March the 8th, we had a kid from Howard W. Blake is proud to announce that digital cinema student Cisco B. Tons has been awarded the Audience Choice Award at the prestigious Gasparilla International Film Festival High School Competition, recognizing his exceptional talent and growing impact as a young filmmaker. Congratulations to you, Cisco. And also, Pablo, can we do where? Oak Park now? We at Oak Park. So I had the opportunity to go to Oak Park with the regional superintendent. We had a great time there. We met people. The morale is very high, positive, very well, positive. They're doing a great job in the absence of their former principal. Also, the students there were wonderful students. Every time I go, I leave some money, so that group got some money for me, and they were happy. They want me to come back next week, but I can't come back every week and give money. And then we had our former principal who did an excellent job when she was there. A great person, missed, but did a great job, fantastic job. We had a little boy that he wanted me to show. I gave money, see, so he came up with some paper. And you say, see, I want you to see I've been doing good too, so I gave him some money too, you know. But I enjoy elementary kids. They're very, very inspirational to me as a person. And then on March the 28th, I had an opportunity to go to creating a plan for the future, the annual transition, and remember Patty and I was there, and she was there. You remember over at ISC? Yeah, the just past ISC, and it was really nice. But you know, one of the things I want to happen is they have a lot of opportunities for students, but we don't get the information out. We don't get the information out. A lot of opportunities, and we went to the ISC for the plan, provide fair and transition events. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of people to come, but they have so much for students in Hillsborough County. A lot, but we want to get the word out. Make sure that we can get the word out so people know, some of the parents will know, and they'll be able to do that. I think that's very important. But besides, I had a great vacation, great time. I'm happy to be back to work. And Superintendent, thank you. Thank you for doing a great job. Continue doing what you're doing, you and the cabinet. We're moving along. We still got a ways to go. You know, no matter what you do, we can't satisfy everybody, but we can keep working as hard as we can, and that's what it's all about. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I'd like to thank Muller Magnet Elementary for having me out last week. I visited both them and Piso. You know, I could go on and on about Piso, but we've already talked about Piso tonight. Muller, for people who don't know, is Arts Magnet, and that school is just phenomenal with the extra day of dance that they have instead of PE. They start teaching strings to kindergartners on boxes just to be able to hold it. They have a recycled fashion show that they do every single year, which is just on par with like other fashion shows, like a Parisian fashion show. The stuff that they create with recycled materials is really amazing, and it's just a magnet school not enough people know about. It's a hidden gem right there, you know, in the USF area, and I wish more people knew about it because it's a phenomenal school. So thank you for allowing me in there. Thank you, Member Washington, for talking about Asia, who passed away, one of our principals who was beloved. That has been such a devastating experience for our community, so thank you for bringing her up. I hope we as a district did a lot to memorialize her and reach out to her cohort of other teachers in the Transformation Network, to other principals, to make sure they're okay, because that affects everybody. I want to say happy Vice Principals Day. I believe that was yesterday. And we don't speak enough about our vice principals. We talk a lot about our administrators. We talk a lot about our teachers, but we really don't talk about our vice principals, who are also the heart and soul and the, you know, right there working alongside our administration to do so much of the work. So happy Vice Principals Day. I did not, Dr. Whelan, you might have already sent it, but I just wanted to use this time to ask about the report that I talked about at the workshop to see how many of our class sizes we actually got within the targeted realm for the unit allocation, because I know we had that target area, and I want to know how many classes actually fit into that target, since we said we weren't cutting anything from kindergarten. And also, I have some questions about our gifted and ELL unit allocation that apparently there was a change to that was not presented to the board, specifically around schools that have less than 10 gifted students now only offering gifted online through Hillsborough Virtual School, with one gifted support staff member that floats around and maybe supports that curriculum. That's something we weren't made aware of, and schools weren't made aware of until very late. So I'd like to have a conversation around that, as well as our ELL unit allocation. That was something we didn't get to talk about, so I just wanted to put that out there. Happy birthday, Member Washington. I know you had a birthday, 77 this weekend, so happy birthday to you. Sorry, I didn't mean to put your age out there, but it was plastered all over the school board building, so I imagine that was okay. And then finally, Superintendent, I don't think you have the answer to this, but I have had an overwhelming request from parents to ask how they can opt out of the nonstop communication from the Commissioner of Education that is sending them emails specifically with nonstop Bible verses in it that is very offensive to our families who are not of the Christian faith. And seeing that we are the state of parental rights and our backbone is built on the rights of parents, they want to know how they can stop getting these emails from the Commissioner of Education. I know there was just a ruling that said we weren't allowed to give out families' email addresses. There was just a ruling on that, so I don't know where it applies, but if we could answer the question and find out from the Board of Education how parents can opt out if they don't want these emails, I would appreciate that. That's all I have tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Member Vaughn, and you stole my little happy birthday to Member Washington, but I only had two things. And Mr. Farkas, so Newman, I know he takes calls 7 days a week because I'm one of those board members who calls everybody. I don't care what time of day it is, but I'm going to miss him because, and I don't know he's going to miss me because I do call him on Saturday, Sunday, it don't matter. Newman. Yeah. So, but rest assured, I will take his time to call the rest of you. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.